want to do anytime you go in the ring is cry like a baby. I tried to go out there and help you, and you threw it all away because you're a loser. It could have been you and me for the championship at WrestleMania, but you blew the whole damn thing because you're a loser. At WrestleMania,
you know why they call you Stone Cold? Because your stones are so cold. Your stones, you won't come out here and step in the ring with me yourself. You're always going to jump me from behind.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch! Frustrated into the goddamn word for it! This is bullshit!
I now own WCW.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Tweener Wrestling Podcast. As usual, it is I, your host, Peter, with his co-host, Garrett.
How's it going, everybody?
I almost said my name twice.
That was awesome, though.
Bit of an egomaniac there. This is episode 3 of the Era of Attitude. We are taking you back to January and March of 1997.
That's correct.
And what a time it was, Garrett.
What a time it was. We get the Royal Rumble. We get WrestleMania 13. We get this Final Four in between, in the middle of February.
Thursday,
Raw,
Thursday.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff happening this episode. A lot of stuff.
And you always, you're always asking me, do we feel the attitude yet? And I think, I think this episode is going to answer that question.
Oh, nice. You even cut off my last question. Well done. At the beginning of the podcast.
Oh,
that's good, though. That's good. No, I think that's it. We don't have to ask that anymore after this episode.
Well, we'll see. Maybe when we're running around Calgary as cowboys and,
yeah, later in the summer.
The Patriot comes back, we'll
Nobody
regress.
really knows what the hell's going on.
Yeah, we'll regress for a bit, maybe.
All right. Yeah,
we'll
we can do that. We can do that.
Last time, what happened?
Oh, God, what happened? Bret Hart came back. He kind of did a makeover to persona.
A 50-year contract.
Yeah. Which we will see more of, or discuss more of in this episode. He's gonna go on a real tangent here with his character, and it's great.
How things are portrayed, yeah.
Things are portrayed. It's really good. Our boy Psycho Sid won the title last time.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
A raucous MSG crowd that loved it.
Yep. We had Survivor Series, and the Austin and Bret Hart feud really began because Bret returned and Austin, was being Stone Cold Steve Austin that we all know and love.
Immediately targeted him.
He targeted the old man.
Yeah.
We had the Taker Mankind feud sort of continued. We had Buried Alive, which was really good, and then we had a okay Survivor Series matchup.
Yeah.
We had the gun incident. We can't forget the gun incident. Brian Pillman pulled a gun on Steve Austin.
Our second attitude adjustment.
Yeah, which was our attitude adjustment for the last episode.
Someone pulling out a handgun on live TV.
As we've said before, arguably the second most, if not the most influential moment.
A crucial moment.
Crucial moment in the era. Yep.
In terms of how things progress.
Vader got injured, and they didn't have time to rename a pay-per-view. It's time. And also, Shawn refused to work with him.
Yeah.
We all know.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels was a huge dick.
Yep.
At this time. He had not found God again.
This is it. Or a smile the second time.
And feuded and had God as his tag team partner. But, yeah, he refused to work with Vader. Basically, he said Vader was too dangerous to work with. He bumped too hard and stuff.
Fair enough.
Well, that's
really
because...
but that's Vader.
Yeah,
I think that's what Cornette says. It's fucking Vader.
Yeah, we could just ask Mick Foley's ear how Vader is to work with.
Yeah.
All right. Do you just we'll just dive right in there then?
Yeah, big changes this week. Probably one of the most influential series of months. I don't know how we're doing this, whether we're doing a 3-month, 2-month kind of thing here, guys.
We'll probably have to cut it down a bit just because after this episode, all the Raws are going to be 2 hours.
But I can't.
That's a slog.
I can't think of anything like a couple months more important. Maybe January to March or April 2001.
Yeah.
I could see is kind of matching this in terms of like all the craziness that happens during that time period.
January to April of 2001, you mean the greatest road to WrestleMania ever paved?
Yeah, I mean, and with WCW collapsing, ECW collapsing, Paul Heyman jumping ship, the title moving around.
Yeah, all that stuff. It was a crazy time, but this is a great time too.
This reminded me of that almost in a way because your main event wasn't really kind of settled until the February pay-per-view, and even then it was iffy.
Yeah, for sure. It was very iffy. I mean, oh my God, the February event was. I think they probably decided that like a week before.
For which Final Four?
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that, but
I mean, they did decide it a week before.
Yeah, so crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's happened here? We're in Tampa and we're in Albany. These Raws before the 1997 Royal Rumble.
I didn't keep up with the dates because they start actually jumping around a lot more, and they start doing different shows every week, which I appreciate.
Yep. We start in Tampa. Bret Hart comes back. He does a really good interview. His first Raw back about the changes in WWF since he left. He talks about how there's no rules and he's putting everybody on notice, and he calls out HBK for being a bitter little boy. Going back to WrestleMania 12, obviously. Actually, that speech is great, and I think it was a really good way to sort of inject some life again. I mean, not that there wasn't any life because you had Stone Cold and Brian Pillman running around. Yeah. But it's a really good way to get Bret Hart immediately back in the spotlight. Not that I don't think he wouldn't be otherwise, but I think it's a nice persona boost that he needed. Yeah, he has another really good speech near the end of December as well, when right around the time he comes back, because he comes back, Survivor Series, all that stuff. He has a really good thing about HBK. He mentions Playgirl, which is, as we all know, in 1997 and 96, a huge no-no with Shawn Michaels.
I don't know. I mean, I understand why that riled him up so much. He probably got ribbed a lot for it backstage. And
oh, God. But Bret Hart, we're going to talk about him a lot because he does some crazy shit all over the place here. We'll focus on him a lot later, actually, for a very good reason.
Well, it's funny to think of some of the backstage stuff that he's... we can talk about this in February, but some of the stuff that, he'll be talking to Vince backstage about how unhappy he was during this time period.
Yeah, and nobody, and it's a very, I think that led to the tirade, which we'll talk about later. There was it was kind of like the straw that broke the back.
But at the same time, this is some of the best stuff he's ever done.
It is. It's amazing. I mean, maybe that's what Vince wanted, was he was just trying to push him so he could get the best of Bret Hart.
This is his best. I mean, I love his 1997 stuff. It's amazing.
Yep, it's great.
His matches are better.
Oh God, he does things so much better with a chip on his shoulder.
No, and he improves upon his big weakness. I think everyone can agree upon that Bret's largest weakness was his promos and his charisma.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I know Bret has a rating. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, Garrett, but it's how he rates wrestlers.
Oh yeah?
And he rates you on your look, your promos, and your wrestling ability.
Okay.
So I think Bret gives himself a 10 out of 10 for look and wrestling.
Yeah.
And then he gives himself a 4 on promos.
Oh yeah?
So
Still gets himself a 24 out of 30.
I don't know how he gets himself a 10 out of look. I mean, he's got a good look, but it's not, a Brock Lesnar.
It was a good look at the beginning of the 90s.
It's not a Brock Lesnar look or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we got that, but we'll talk about Bret Hart a lot. I'm going to jump to talking about Stone Cold here.
Okay.
For this time. I wrote down in my notes here, I don't think Austin ever really gets a clean finish between now and WrestleMania 13.
Yeah.
He's always getting interfered. For fuck's sake, his match with Vader for Vader's return, Hart is on commentary and just puts Austin in the sharpshooter and gets him disqualified. Immediately upon his return, oh my God.
It's one of those tough man matches where they're we have no faces. Just fight each other, guys.
Put these guys in here and fight. Austin, though, during this time, too, especially towards WrestleMania, really starts brawling a lot more, which is, as we all know, Austin's style later in '97 after he comes back from a neck injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but he never really gets a clean finish. And
I think they're protecting him as well, though.
Yeah. If you'd asked me when I was a kid if I was upset about this, I'd be like, yeah, well, I just want to see Austin win. I don't want to see him get beat up that way and stuff. But now that I think about it, they did a really good job in, Austin's supposed to be a heel at this point. How can you have a guy be a heel when he's always getting run in on and disqualified and never gets clean wins, and Bret Hart's putting him in sharpshooters?
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah.
Bret Hart was a face.
They really protected him. I think they knew exactly what they wanted to do with him. I don't know how far or how big they thought they could, take him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just the benefit of hindsight. But whenever I watch this time period, I'm like, I feel like they thought they could do like the 1998 WrestleMania, WrestleMania 14. I feel like they thought they could postpone it until then.
Yeah.
But that goes contrary to what they normally do, where they're like, oh fuck, let's give the belt to Diesel. He's over.
Let's give the belt to let's give the Royal Rumble win to Roman Reigns.
Roman needs it.
Everyone hates and then immediately hated because he gets pushed too fast and didn't earn it.
Which is the opposite of the TNA, where they go, Samoa Joe, he's been over for the past 2 years. Let's turn him heel. Let's make him let's make him Nation of Violence.
What a jerk around that was.
Yeah, TNA loved to do that. That's why we no longer watch TNA.
Was that a Vince Russo?
Russo.
That?
I mean, Russo's booking around that time. So
I know. That's what I mean. It could be an oh shit, it's Vince Russo.
Oh shit,
it's Vince Russo.
Oh, it's so good every time.
WWE related, but it's good to use.
So good every time. The only thing that will ever survive TNA's.
Hey, it wasn't TNA related clip though.
Yeah, I guess no, but I mean that's the only clip that's the only soundbite that will survive from TNA's firestorm of them nuking themselves into oblivion.
Yeah, I think I can't see too much of the video library / talent for them to be used. Maybe if they grab a guy like Samoa Joe or AJ or something at some point, then they can use that.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if they have anyone on the NXT roster from TNA right now, but
yep. Yeah. So then we've got a lot of other random stuff going on at this time as well, like a lot of really weird things. Remember last episode, everybody, we mentioned the stupid Konami karate fighter tournament that they had with the toys? Well, they have a final for this on Raw, and it's live. And it takes up like 10 minutes, and obviously now that I watched it and I'm older, the only reason this existed was for a really terrible is Goldust gay promo. Goldust comes out with Marlena, and the King comes out with Sunny, because those are the two that are in the final, obviously. And then it goes on for a little bit, and the King seems really uncomfortable asking him the question. He's like, aren't you, a little, well, and he's like shrugging to the crowd. The crowd already all knows what he's going to say.
Yeah, crowd's excited. They're popping.
He's just like, queer? And then the crowd's like, boo! And he gets really booed and stuff. And then Goldust just picks up a mic and goes, no! And then punches him in the face.
Well, you're aren't you? What am I? He asked him a question. Well, we might want to be right back. Where? What? Aren't you? Well, we've come this far. We might as well stay with us. No.
Such a good soundbite, but it's at the time the WWF had no idea what they could do to get ratings. So I mean, this anti-gay thing with Goldust would have worked.
I'm amazed they didn't use the F word on him. And
yeah.
Oh wait, Lawler does do that in the greatest heel promo of all time, which I'd like to pause for soundbite right now and include as well. Have you ever heard that one, Garrett?
I'm not sure.
The one where he's like, I don't even want to say it because it's like the most offensive thing in the world, but he's like, your dad hates you because you're gay and your
God.
Wife is a slut,
right. Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Your daughter, he says your daughter could be anyone's, but he makes it sound like his daughter's also a slut, even though she's like 3 at this point.
Well, it seems our sissy friend is having a little identity crisis. First he was Dustin Runnels, then he was Goldust, and now he wants to be the king of the ring. Well, we all saw you out here with tears running down your face, wondering why your old man, Old Dust, don't love you anymore. Well, I know Dusty Rhodes, and he told me why. It's because you married the biggest gold digger in Georgia, then you put on a woman's wig, and you went around the ring kissing men like a flaming fag. Well, let me tell you something. They're going to all have tears running down their face tonight. Bring that gold digger to the ring and bring that little brat, Dakota, with her. What? Because I'm going to tell you this. They're going to all have tears running down their face when I'm through with you. And what'd you name that brat? Dakota? You should have named her Target, because I heard everybody in Atlanta had a shot at it.
All right.
Good God.
Greatest heel promo of all time.
King. The King. Yeah, so we have that final, which sort of leads us into another feud that goes on. Triple H starts feuding with Goldust for, like, the entirety of this episode we're going to be talking about. Like, they feud up until WrestleMania 13.
It never ends.
It never fucking ends.
The Alberto, Sheamus, Roman Reigns, Big Show.
It outlasts everyone.
Mankind, Undertaker.
So basically the centerpiece of this feud was that Marlena was Goldust's valet to the ring at the time, and Triple H was not in his DX persona yet. That's later in 97.
But he gets the sweet shoulder pads that he'll wear later.
Yes. But he always came to the ring with a valet, so he starts trying to seduce Marlena to be his valet or be his woman, if you like.
I mean, there's only 3 of them, Garrett. He needs one of them. Jeez.
So there's only 3.
There's only 3 of them. You really have to fight
He needs one. It's Triple H. He's booking himself, and he wants a valet.
He's already pissed off one of them. So
yeah.
And Shawn's banging the other one.
Oh God, yeah. It really peaks with Triple H. Tries to carry her away from the ring during a match with Goldust, and then he gets blocked by Mark Marrow, who's supposed to still be feuding with Triple H for the IC title, but they didn't know what to do with Mark Marrow, obviously.
He falls off the face of the earth.
Falls off the face of the earth at this point. Yep. After he loses the title, they just have nothing for him to do.
And returns to be powerbombed by his wife.
Woohoo! I mean, no.
Hey, Sable got over.
Yep. That's the only reason that even existed, is let's see how over Sable is. Which we all know is a lot.
Did you ever hear the story? This is one of my lovely, fun stories I love hearing, where Mero was wrestling Austin on a house show or something.
Oh, okay.
And so Sable, I think, had powerbombed him the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin just goes up to Vince and is like, I'm not wrestling Mero more than 10 seconds. He literally got powerbombed by a woman the week before. I'm just going to go out there and give him a stunner and hit him.
That's amazing. Well, Austin's been known to be like that kind of thing. Like, I mean, earlier in episode 1 and 2, when he was first started talking a lot, like there was a really good thing where he was on commentary when Sable was out there, and he's like, she's a distraction. She belongs in the kitchen. She shouldn't be out here at ringside. And like, it's kind of crazy, but that's apparently the way Austin was.
And he has his own history with that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does.
But, no, and I think it also has to do with, Austin, like all the best individuals, even Triple H, I'll include Triple H in this, are very, very, very protective of their gimmick and their image. And they don't do stupid shit that, I would include John Cena. I don't want to include John Cena in this because I feel like he does a lot of things that do damage his gimmick, but John Cena's gimmick is that at this point. So
yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's kind of confusing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where does John Cena go from here?
Like, I feel like his gimmick is that that babyface Rocky Maivia gimmick that he's like made it his own, and it's his thing. Whatever, it's love it or hate it.
Do
it's
you
his
know
gimmick.
how many times after Cena gets beat up and the fans cheer after a pay-per-view that I want him to come back on the next Raw and just hear and have him go like old school Doctor of Thugonomics back to 2003 and just go and unleash shit on everyone.
I feel like they just don't need to turn him heel. He is a heel.
They don't. He's a lifetime face now.
But he's also a lifetime heel.
Yeah, he's a tweener, but we don't want him as our mascot, so fuck that.
It's great. I just wish I'm happy with Cena. I don't know why we got into a Cena rant here, but I like the position he's in right now where he just doesn't dominate the main event. Yeah. He's there. It's fine. And he's not a bad wrestler, even though he's this very strange Stone Cold Steve Austin stunner now.
Yeah.
Have you seen this? This is his new thing. Yeah. But yeah, just stay away from the main event, John, and I'm happy.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Stop burying guys, John.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop burying new talent.
I still can't believe Sami Zayn kicked out of his FU the other day.
That was great because I was like, oh, look, here's another burial.
Yeah.
Kicked out.
It wasn't even a delayed one or anything. It was
barked.
Like, it was great.
That's great.
All right. Props to John Cena.
We've also got during this time of ridiculousness, we have Ahmed Johnson versus the Nation feud still.
Never-ending feud. Also.
This is also another ending feud. There's literally a callback from July at this point. Ahmed says like, "Oh, Farouk, you caused my you hurt my kidneys and stuff." And that's what he sounds like, by the way, because you can't understand him.
It's more like, "You hurt my kidney."
Want to beast you? I actually wrote in my notes, fuck, Ahmed is so shit on the mic. Please stop this.
He's so shit. I'm going to give him a 2 on the Bret Hart sketch. Maybe a 1.
I'm giving him a -2. I can't even understand him. Ahmed, he keeps storming the ring during this time with a 2x4 in any of the members of Nation of Domination matches.
Such a clumsy weapon.
It really is.
It honestly, it's too big for him, and it constantly goes flying, and it's like, just bring it back to the ring or something, like a normal person.
After he does that a couple times, Gorilla Monsoon suspends him in quotations for his attacks, but it's actually just to make sure that his kidney is actually healed, because he's got a match at the Royal Rumble in like 2 weeks, and they don't want him to fuck up his kidney again. And also, chances are with Ahmed Johnson, his injury-prone career, he'd storm the ring and tear a quad or something.
Well, the storyline, it goes like, it never ends. I think it goes into July as well. Just because Ahmed keeps getting injured and they never resolve it.
And they can never finish it.
And then he turns heel and then he gets injured.
It's one of those things that started in July of 96 and should have been done by November, but he's injured all the time, so it goes an extra year.
My favorite part is when they're showing the highlights of Farouk injuring him. They have to kind of not show Farouk fully because he's completely different. He's got the
he's got the dunce cap on.
Yeah, he's got the gladiator outfit on.
Yep.
It's amazing.
There's only a couple more things before we get into our first pay-per-view here. Mm-hmm. We've got the Undertaker storyline. He's still feuding with Paul Bearer, having issues with Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer, as we all know, left him.
Yeah.
He was a heel. He was a heel with Mankind. He was sort of a heel character until around Survivor Series. Or a little bit before that, Buried Alive, I'd say.
What? Who is the heel?
Undertaker was up until that certain point. How long was he a face for?
What? Undertaker's was face since
Yeah, I guess technically I just associated him with his heel because Paul Bearer is such a fucking dick.
No, he's been heels. He's been a face since he stopped Jake Roberts from hitting Miss Elizabeth in 92
Oh yeah, that's right. I always forget about that.
Whose side are you on? Not yours. Yeah, and it does seem weird though because Paul Bearer.
He always comes across as a really big heel man.
He seems like a heel,
and it's such a strange thing to have a heel manager with a face.
Yes, it seems strange to have a manager at all when you're a face.
Yeah,
it's not very common. Unless you're.
That's Mark Marrow.
I can't think of too many Mark Marrow, Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Nah, there really hasn't been because, there were some more modern times, but all of them either split up because it was just a
Brock Lesnar right now, sort of.
Yeah, I guess sort of. The great thing about Paul Heyman is he's sort of a tweener.
Yeah.
He is a face because his client's a face, but he also is such a dick. But it's that guy that you love.
He's rarely a face, but yeah, he's a face to the smart audience.
Just so powerful.
The rowdy audience.
That is so powerful.
That's because he can actually turn the crowd. He can actually manipulate.
He's amazing. It's amazing.
It's great.
But we have that Undertaker, because Paul Bearer is with Mankind at this point, is getting more promo time.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, he does better on promos. He uses his own voice more. He's very good. He's very good at pacing his promos, I find. He doesn't talk too fast, and he really lets the gravity and gravitas of what he's saying.
That's before the what chant ruined in-ring promos.
Ruined everything.
Being able to pace and be slow and emphasize things.
I think this is a big thing. The bookers that were booking his promos and stuff and his matches saw how over Undertaker was.
Mm-hmm.
It gave him more chances to do promo work, and it's a really funny comparison because you have the Undertaker who comes out with Sid, who are they're cutting this great promo, And like Mankind comes out with Paul Bearer, and every time Paul Bearer comes to the ring, it's oh yes, and you're like, this is not the same. This is not what I want.
He says it differently though, which is great.
Yeah, every time, but it's great. Yeah. It's great. And the only other thing we have going into the Rumble here is HBK versus Sid.
Well, let me jump back to that Undertaker point real quick.
Yep.
Again, I think that's one of those like. Very similar to Bret, and feel free to tell me I'm wrong. At Tweener Wrestling, at Tweener Podcast on Twitter, and Tweener Wrestling at podcast@gmail.com. We'll plug it again at the end.
Yeah.
But I feel like he never really had to talk because he had Bearer as his doing the mic work.
Yeah, yeah.
And now at this point he gets a little more freedom, and he actually he's not bad at it, and he keeps getting to. Undertaker doesn't get to do it a lot, and I can only think of one really, really bad promo he's done where I don't know if you ever heard it, where he's talking about the Big Show and how he left the Big Show in a desert, and
I know
the Big Show carried a motorcycle, and Jericho came out and buried them, and then got massive heat on himself for backstage.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Yeah, it's that sort of stuff. When you put a guy out there, you cover his faults, but here they're like, just run with it. If you're bad at it, you're bad at it, whatever. But here he gets the chance to actually improve himself and, improve a fault that he can make one of his strengths.
Yeah.
He's not great. I mean, I kind of rolled my eyes at his I want to bring the Creatures the title back.
Oh, God,
He sounded like Jeff Hardy there.
Maybe that's where they got the idea for Jeff Hardy.
My Creatures.
Yeah.
Fucking Jeff Hardy.
What happened to Jeff Hardy? God damn it.
Yeah, there's a funny moment where Sid fucks off or no shows. I forgot what happens. I think he wants to go play softball or something.
Probably.
So the Undertaker has to do like the promotion for the Royal Rumble by himself at this.
Oh, Jesus.
Wherever they were, probably like a Hard Rock Cafe or something. So he's having to do interviews as like the Undertaker.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know.
Oh, God, that's bad.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
So this is probably why he gets comfortable
and realize like the severity of that situation
and becoming more of the American badass sort of thing.
Yeah,
which he will become in '98.
Yeah.
He starts fucking off and being like, what, fuck this. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Well, he does that. He does that. One time around this, sometime during the Raws or whatever during this episode that we're talking about. There's one where he comes and does commentary. Ringside, and he talks like the American badass. Like, he talks faster. And like all of his promos are slow and calculating, and this one he's like, well, look, I'm gonna get in the ring and I'm gonna beat Shawn Michaels' ass, I'm gonna beat Sid's ass. I'm like, you're not even slowing down.
They do that sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's just like he's just like, I'm not. Well, it would take him like 3 matches worth to get his point across.
No, well, I mean, in '98, sometimes he'll come out in like an Attitude T-shirt, and you're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Go put on your ring attire, asshole."
Yeah, what are you doing? We know you don't have the purple ring attire anymore. It's fine. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, what we have left is HBK is feuding with Psycho Sid, our boy Psycho Sid, at this point.
Yes.
It's really good. There's a lot of despite how much I hate HBK at this time because he's a selfish dick, he cut some really good backstage interviews and promos during Raws. Like, they visit him at his house in Texas and shit.
Yeah. Because
Jose is still there.
HBK, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a real dick in these promos. I love it.
Yeah. The only thing Sid's promos have going for them is how intense he is, which is also a drawback because he botches every single one of them.
Even when they're recording them, like, not live, on delay.
He says dumb shit.
And they're just like, fuck it, whatever. Sid, that's good.
Yeah.
Not getting any better than that.
Right before the Royal Rumble, so the 12th or 13th, he has a great spot to end Raw where Sid power bombs Jose Lothario's son Pete on a table, which doesn't break, but he power bombs.
Probably hurt him more too.
Yeah, and HBK and Jose are in the ring, like, plugging how HBK is going to win the Royal Rumble. And Sid's like, I didn't want to do this, and like he just power bombs Pete Lothario through a table. Well, not even through a table, on a table.
You and I both know that I have half the table, that you do.
Just a really terrible.
Pretty boy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I love Sid.
Well, we come to our first one now, Peter. We come to the first pay-per-view of the year 1997, which, as we all know, the first pay-per-view of every year is the Royal Rumble.
Some fool is booking the Royal Rumble in a 71,000-seat stadium.
Oh, yeah. They had 60,000 plus, though.
Yes. Well, I mean, as Cornette was saying, who's going to San Antonio to watch the Royal Rumble? I know. You might as well put it somewhere, a little more touristy.
There you go. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, this is at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. It is the 10th anniversary, which is part of the reason I think they booked it for such a high-capacity building.
Yeah.
It's the 10th anniversary. It's still the highest attended Royal Rumble event, but you can't really do anything about that.
That's true.
Where are you going to... I mean, the only way you could have it is if you had it in, an outdoor stadium, but you can't because it's January. So, unless you have it in Florida, I guess. You could have it in, January in Florida.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Silver Dome or something. Somewhere where they have a lot of history might have worked well, but whatever.
Yeah, too bad the Silver Dome's, fucked off.
They should fucking buy it. It probably would cost them $25 right now.
You can buy it. Apparently, you can buy the Silver Dome now for $100,000.
Buy it and turn it into a physical Hall of Fame.
Which is fucking peanuts.
Buy it and turn it into the Hall of Fame.
They won't do it though because they want to have the Hall of Fame
in New York, probably
in Connecticut, which we know where no one goes.
No, it should be in New York, but the rent would cost a fuck ton.
But yeah, so the Alamo Dome, it's kind of a big deal for this point. 1997, big deal, big fucking deal.
Would they used to do that? The Spurs would play there, or
I think so.
They didn't have a football team or anything there, do they?
No, unless the Houston Texans.
Yeah, maybe. Well, probably not in San Antonio though.
Yeah,
I thought the Texans. Yeah, I think the Texans play in the Astrodome at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
So we have at the Alamo Dome. We have Triple H versus Goldust for the title because this feud will go on forever.
No.
That was well done. I like that. Somehow. Well, it's not even somehow. I don't know why I said somehow there.
Somehow.
Goldust is a face here because of the Jerry Lawler remarks about him being gay. And also Triple H has just always been a heel. And also everyone was big fans of Marlena because her boobs.
And Vince says that Goldust was misunderstood all along and he's a jealous man. Goldust has shown that he's jealous lately.
You know what, Peter? You know what we forgot to do before we got to the Royal Rumble?
What'd we do?
We forgot Shotgun Saturday Night.
Fuck Shotgun Saturday Night.
It took place before Royal Rumble. But
all right, let's move back.
Yeah, well, it's not that big a deal. It's this kind of goes hand in hand with what's going on.
You can watch 3 episodes and you'll see the entire
You'll
thing.
see the whole thing. So it's basically an adult WWF. It had a disclaimer at the start of every show. It aired at midnight, for God's sake.
On syndication, so it's
syndication.
Randomly whenever.
Yeah. Basically, it went all over places in New York. I think the first one was at some club. One of them was in a mall.
Yep.
One of them was in the streets of Chicago.
There's a cool cowboy bar there in at one point with cactuses and stuff.
Some interesting things happened on the first episode, though. We had the debut of the Headbangers, which we'll be seeing a lot more of.
The Sisters of Love. Man, the tag team division sucked back then.
Yep. Bob Backlund is running around like a maniac, proclaiming that everything is, everything. Oh, this is all distasteful, and we shouldn't be watching this, and this is stupid. And how it's degrading, and everyone should shut off their TVs, and how can these people be waiting in line?
I fucking love Bob Backlund.
He's great. Now, the biggest thing that happened on the first episode, apart from Sonny being on color commentary with Vince, Goldust faces the Sultan.
We're
using that as our theme. I don't care. That's our ending theme.
All right.
So good. So good. At one point, they're making this thing about how the Sultan is kind of distracted by Marlena. So at one point, Goldust looks like he's going to be put in the camel clutch, and Marlena jumps up on the ropes, and she takes her top off. We all know now she's wearing pasties. But at the time, it was alluded to that she flashed the Sultan, and it was a huge deal.
I wanted to see Terry's rockin' boobage.
Yeah, and Google still doesn't have those pictures. What are they doing?
I've seen side shots, but like never the right angle and all that.
What are those guys that were like actually taking pictures of from the front doing? They could be making hundreds of dollars.
Oh, this is for my private collection.
What are they? Are they a bunch of neckbeards?
I got Marlena.
Put that in the collection. It's one of those things that's like the plastic wrap for like Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've turned it into like a hockey card, but with
this with my Divas collection with my Sunny Skype video.
That's a DVD case. So a lot of other things happen, but different episodes. Like Ahmed powerbombs D'Lo Brown onto the hood of a car.
Yes. Back when he was unnamed nation member.
Unnamed nation member number 12.
Yeah.
Drunk Terry Funk is a thing that happened.
Yeah, he got I was reading Mankind's book the other day. Can't read that book enough. And he says that Terry legitimately got some legit. I said legit twice. He legitimately got heat over this.
Oh yeah,
this clip. Yeah, because he calls McMahon a Yankee son of a bitch, and he calls JR an Okie asshole.
Yeah.
Some other funny ones.
Yep.
Oh, he says Todd's mother is a whore. I mean, like this would have been fine in a few months from now. So.
I'm looking around here. Where's Vince McMahon? That Yankee bastard! I realize this is live. Hey, Pat, I believe you can take him. Give me the microphone. How about rumbling with you? Your mother's a whore. Shut up, you bag of wind. Why don't you rumble a little bit? You want to rumble, Ben Gale? No. No, you don't. Is there anybody here?
We're live, ladies and gentlemen.
Where are you,
from
Jim
San Antonio,
Ross?
Texas, in the ring. If you just joined us,
You
legendary.
Yeah, Mick says that he got in shit over that, but he brings him back in '98.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other really thing that stands out on Shotgun Saturday Night for anybody that want to waste your time watching it, just go to YouTube and look up Triple H versus The Undertaker. It's in like a mall. Triple H gets tombstoned on an escalator that goes down. So when he deposits Triple H's limp corpse on the escalator, that his corpse just kind of rides it down to the bottom.
It was excellent. Triple H should use this when he's dealing with WCW wrestlers.
Yeah, it's really well done.
His way of sending them back to developmental.
Yeah, just
big escalator.
That is the fast track, the escalator track.
It goes from WrestleMania to NXT.
Yeah. Sid or fucking Sting.
Put Sting on it and rides him back.
Damn you, Triple H. So yeah, I mean, getting back to the Rumble now, that's a thing that happened. So because I got on a tangent there with Marlena.
We always do.
Are
we gonna play the Royal Rumble music while we're talking about the Royal Rumble again? I like that idea.
Oh, we're playing it twice?
Yeah, let's play it twice.
All right.
It's playing right now, so I mean, whatever.
So Triple H is a heel, obviously. Goldust is a face.
Misunderstood all along.
There's a really good spot in this match where they're outside the ring and the camera doesn't cut away in time, I don't think. Because Goldust punches Triple H in the face, and then before he punches him again, just yells, "Come on, you piece of shit!" and just punches him again, and the crowd just loses their minds.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, every time Marlena is on screen, there's wolf whistling and Nature Boy woos and a lot of dog barking.
Triple H gets some after his burial quotation marks in '96, he gets some great hands to work with for the rest of the year.
Goldust is amazing.
He gets Goldust, and then he gets Mankind.
Yeah,
who's definitely going to make you look good. And then he gets to work with Shawn Michaels and Owen Hart and all those people.
Yep. He works with a lot of good talent.
And then they stick him with The Rock next year. So, I mean, he's laughing.
Our next match on this card is Ahmed Johnson versus Farouk.
Also, there's a great shot of Goldust's moose knuckles when he gets pedigreed.
Oh, yeah.
It's just right up in there.
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah.
It is brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
If you want to see what a moose knuckle looks like in the dictionary, it's that. It's that. After that moose knuckle incident.
Ahmed versus Farouk, number 45.
Number 45 of 6,323.
Yes, it's
It's
never ending.
longest. It's never ending. It's so hard to watch. The only good thing is we get to hear the Nation of Domination theme because it's fucking awesome.
With the two white guys who rap the
Yeah, who rap over top.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Ahmed comes out to this match with a slammy, and I think it's entirely Vince's doing.
He doesn't come out with an actual slammy, does he?
No, I don't think he comes out with one, but they say, like, slammy award for Ahmed Johnson. And I'm just like, wait, I literally wrote, wait, Ahmed won a slammy?
Yeah, it's the fake one where, you know, you give it to The Rock or Roman Reigns.
Superstar of the year, up-and-comer, or whatever the hell it is. New sensation.
It's not Stone Cold Steve Austin who's the new sensation. It's or Mankind or Triple H.
It's Ahmed Johnson.
It's the Rock. It's Rocky Maivia.
I told you it reeks of Vince.
Yeah. Well, maybe he could have won in 1995. I couldn't think of anyone really decent besides like Triple H in 1995.
And then the crowd starts chanting, "You're going down," and I wanted to pop both my eardrums.
You go down.
I hate it. I hate that chant. Like, it's just, it seems like a false guarantee because Ahmed always loses.
He always loses. They make him look like an idiot, like just a big child.
That's what he looks like anyway.
Because they
beef stew.
They constantly like pointed out to him that like there's fucking 9 people in the Nation of Domination. You look like an asshole just running in and trying to fight them all. Because he constantly gets his ass beat.
Yeah, he does all the time. At one point, one of the white rappers in this match, unnamed Nation member 47, he passes his belt to Farouk, and I think this is the first time I've ever heard JR use the phrase "whipping him like a government mule," which is a nice little bit of trivia there.
Yes.
Royal Rumble 97, there it is.
JC Ice or Wolfie D were
one of those two.
PG-13 members.
Yeah.
And no disqualifications, by the way, for the belt shots and chair shots and all those other things.
Yeah. There was a really good ending to this match, actually, which was surprising because it's Ahmed Johnson. And a really good table spot to end the segment overall.
Those old tables were ridiculous. You know, they were just literally
an actual table.
Actual tables with these massive TV monitors on them.
It wasn't like pre-broken either. Like it was just a thing that you'd have to hit them hard enough that they'd go through the table. And we'll get to that at WrestleMania 13.
Oh yeah.
I think we've mentioned before this is only the 4th table spot. I think, right?
Yeah.
4th?
I mean, Bret Diesel, Shawn Diesel, and Mankind Shawn.
Man, Diesel and Shawn Michaels putting in work on the tables.
Well, Bret was pissed that they stole his idea, which I always lull at.
Yeah, that's my idea.
Bret always gets mad at these things. I have to ask him about this when I meet him. Like,
Bret is the most un-Canadian Canadian.
You're mad that people are using your ladder match idea. What are we supposed to do? Just stick it in the vault and just...
He just say like...
This is Bret's idea.
This is Bret's idea. We're going to do it. Yeah. What did they want us to do? Plug Bret Hart when they had this match?
Bret and Diesel did this in 95.
Ahmed and Farouk was surprisingly good.
Ahmed gets his ass kicked the entire match.
Yeah, well, it's Ahmed.
There's a really funny moment where he runs in and he starts wrestling Farouk, and Farouk hasn't taken off his his suit or something, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like, what is he wearing? He looks like he looked like the Undertaker, where he's wearing that like singlet.
Oh, that big long like trench coat thing he had.
Yeah. He looked like that like American Badass Undertaker or WrestleMania 31 Undertaker, where he's got the stupid baggy pants on.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Undertaker, we have Vader versus Undertaker in our next matchup.
Oh, good match.
Good match. One of my favorite things about this match is every time Vader hits Undertaker with like a crazy power move near the beginning of the match that would normally put like a jobber or somebody lesser than the Undertaker away, the Undertaker keeps sitting up. At one point, he sits up and looks at Vader right in the face, and Vader seems like genuinely phased, which I thought was really well done. Like they picked a really good camera angle for that.
I always love the willingness of guys like Yokozuna or Sid or Vader or Brock Lesnar, like guys who should never show fear.
To show fear to like a guy like Undertaker.
Yeah, and whenever the Undertaker does that spot where he'll sit up and like flick his head towards them, they'll like actually. I don't know if it's
what the hell?
Or not.
Yeah.
I'd probably shit myself if he did that to me too.
Oh man, yeah, because we all know in real life that if like Undertaker sat up and did that, he'd be going to Suplex City, bitch. Courtesy Brock Lesnar. He'd just give him like 17 Germans. and probably actually kill The Undertaker.
Well, my favorite spot recently was the one where Brock Lesnar sat up at SummerSlam.
And was laughing?
And he was laughing. And then,
such a good thing. Yeah, he was like just laughing, like shaking so hard he was laughing.
That Bucky Beaver motherfucker, Kevin Dunn, fucked up the filming of it, and it's like in an instant replay.
It's so good. It's so good.
It was such a good spot.
Overall, this match was pretty standard, except for like the pallbearer bit. It was still really well done overall. It was a decent.
It's good, and Paul Bearer gets back involved in the Undertaker's business.
Yep. They kind of inject Undertaker with Paul Bearer, pair up Paul Bearer with Undertaker.
I'm trying to think. I think Paul Bearer. I mean, literally, it makes sense. Paul Bearer should be with the Undertaker, like even if they're feuding.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to think of how long this will go. I guess it goes on as long as Kane. Jeez, it might go on all the way till they get back together at Survivor Series 1998.
Yeah, I think so.
Judgment Day 98. It's one of them.
Yep,
And,
yep, I think so. I think you're right.
Where he turns on Kane and joins the Undertaker again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what was the point of that?
Yeah. It goes on so long.
Russo?
And
then he buries him in concrete.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's actually a really interesting YouTube video I saw
where they film it
time.
beforehand, yeah.
Have you seen the one where it's just a rehearsal of it, and there's nobody in the stands, and it's just like Undertaker's there with a sheet of paper and a microphone practicing his lines?
Yeah, it's funny.
and Paul Bear's in the thing. He's like, "No, Undertaker!"
Because they have to film the reaction shots before when they had the actual pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I actually read a lot of amusing things lately where it's like, back in the day when they were doing these satellite feeds, like you could actually watch them and record them.
Oh yeah.
So there's a really good one where Nathan Jones, like who rescues the Undertaker, and he fucks up everything. And so the Undertaker goes to a referee, and you can like tell what he's saying. He's like, "Let's redo this." And so Paul Heyman has to bring the Big Show and Albert back to redo the entire spot because it's so shitty. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's on YouTube.
Then we get to what the Royal Rumble's all about.
After we skipped a Mexican wrestling match.
Yeah, I literally didn't write anything down for that. Which is kind of a shame because generally they're pretty good. They're always high flying.
These guys are all old and
those guys are shit. But coming up, they'll be good.
Garrett, why is the British Bulldog going to win tonight?
Because he's bizarre.
He's going to win the Royal Rumble. Yeah, the British Bulldog. I've got a history in Royal Rumbles, and tonight I'm going to remake history by winning this night's Royal Rumble tonight because I'm bizarre.
It's been a while since we had a soundbite.
Such a good sound.
I'm bizarre.
Bizarre. Like, how many times can he say
it's
tonight?
So funny, and he's a face.
I'm going to win tonight, and I'm going to go in there tonight. I'm going to win the title tonight. I'm going to do that and win the Rumble tonight. He says tonight like 7 times.
He's a face for no reason. Like he's like, hey, who's going to win the title tonight? The British Bulldog, yeah. All these fans who are outside.
It's
like Hulk Hogan. Yeah, the Hulkster's going to win.
I'm going over, brother. Yeah, but we have the Royal Rumble match. God damn it! We have the Royal. We have the. Fuck. Jesus Christ! We have the Royal Rumble match now.
Yes.
And it's overall it's a pretty decent Rumble, despite the fact how many jobbers there are.
Oh, so many, and they're all the good wrestlers at the very end.
Yeah, all like the first half of the match is carried by terrible jobbers.
Like Mexican wrestler number 5.
Yep.
Phineas.
And Vince keeps messing up their names.
Aldo Montoya. Fake Razor.
He's like...
And I'm just like, all right, I'll pay attention.
Vince McMahon is like the Don Cherry of the WWF with names.
The roadie.
The real
I always fuck up the roadie. He's not the roadie. He's the real Double J.
The real Double G.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Rumble match is actually pretty good, despite the fact being carried by jobbers for the first half. Austin comes out, and Austin is fucking hysterical. In my opinion,
what does he come out at? Is he 5 or 4? I'm trying to remember.
I think he's 5.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, he wins pretty low.
Yeah, because it's one where like Ahmed Johnson's first, and then he leaps the ropes because Farouk comes to the ramp, and then when Farouk comes out later. Ahmed Johnson runs out with a 2x4 again.
Like he probably had to carry that 2x4 all around while he
the ropes again and fucks off.
Just get a baseball bat on it.
Yeah. No, that'd be copying Sting. We couldn't plug WCW.
That's true. Could be a wooden baseball bat.
Yeah, as a joke. But Austin is fucking hilarious in this match. I think that this is where he really started to grow on me when I was younger, and if he didn't, he would have grown on me when we're rewatching this now.
You probably watched this during Royal Rumble Raw, maybe, right?
Yeah. That's when I'd be seeing the recaps.
I mean, my parents didn't let me pay for the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
So
which they cut out a part of it for Raw or Thursday Raw Thursday, like the Royal Rumble Raw. Skydome Raw. My mistake.
Which we in Canada call it.
Yeah. And I got to watch this pay-per-view this time, and it was great because when Jake the Snake Robert comes out, Austin just gets on his knees and starts praying.
Did they cut that out?
They cut it out of the Raw one.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah. And he also does a lot of other things. Like he'll go and when he eliminates people, he'll just sit up on the ropes and like check his watch and like egg the crowd on, and he just does what Austin does best.
He does push-ups.
Oh yeah, he does a lot of push-ups.
He keeps waving for more.
Waves people out. Yeah.
That I love it. I love the hammock spot.
Oh yeah, he just hangs in the corner.
I feel like I've only seen one other person do it. I'm sure it's very common, but I feel like I can only remember Shawn doing it just before his match with Triple H at SummerSlam in 2002.
There's only one more time I could think about it, and it wasn't even for a match.
Okay.
It's when they had that really terrible angle of Hornswoggle was Vince McMahon's bastard son.
Oh, no.
And Triple H was in the ring, and before they started narrowing it down to like 4 people, he was just hanging out and chilling on the ropes like that.
Yeah, Triple H and Shawn Michaels like to do it.
Yeah, they like to do that a lot.
Yeah, the Shawn Michaels one during SummerSlam is such a great... I'm looking forward to getting to it because it's like, Triple H is coming into the ring, and he's got the game, and he's all like fired up, and Shawn Michaels is just like, whatever, bring it.
Bring it on.
And it's been like 4 years since we've last seen him do it, so it's like such a perfect moment.
It's a perfect thing.
Yeah.
Yep. The Royal Rumble match, though, ends in controversy when Bret Hart thinks he's eliminated Austin.
Hold on a sec.
Yep.
Best moment of the night is when Austin is waiting for the next person, and then you hear that.
Yeah.
And he flips out.
Yeah.
Like he's actually legitimately like stressed, and then he like quickly shakes it off, and it starts like doing the bring it motion, which I love.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh God.
It's like, awesome. I am nervous, whatever, let's go.
Let's go. Yep. So Bret and a lot of people in the crowd thought that they eliminated Austin because Austin did go over the top rope.
Wait, Garrett, you're still going past way too many things here.
Am I?
I'm taking over, motherfucker.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else written. So.
All right, let me go. So King wonders how many people Austin's eliminated. JR says they don't keep those records.
Liar!
They do.
Liar.
Austin ends up with a record until 2001.
Yep.
Where Kane takes it.
Yeah.
And then we give it to Jesus Christ himself, Roman Reigns, who wins it in 2014. No, yes, 20. It's the one where he loses.
Yeah, the 2014.
And he gets 12 that year. Jerry Lawler has a hilarious moment here where he goes, "It takes a king," and he runs into the ring while his music's playing, and then he gets tossed out immediately. And then he goes back and he goes, "To Noah King."
And what's this? Oh, yeah. Hey, McMahon. What's this, baby? I can't look at you. You already. You weren't lying. It's ready. I said it once. I'll say it again. It takes the king. Jerry the King Lawler sticking up behind the hitman Bret Hart. Look at it. The King is out. And Bret Hart looks like... Oh, my. I think we just saw a record broken. I think Lawler had just broken a record. I think he just said it. It takes a king. To know a king, McMahon.
Which is better than now, where every goddamn announcer is like, "Oh, I have to be in the Rumble."
Yeah, like JBL has done that like twice. Booker T's done it.
Yes, every year. Michael Cole did it one year.
The only time, and he got eliminated by Karma.
Awesome Kong, yeah.
Good God.
Pretty decent Rumble. Near the end there, you have Austin, Bret, The Rock. I mean, I guess all these guys are kind of in their infancy at some points. You know, we have Austin, Bret, The Rock, Terry Funk, Mankind, Undertaker and Vader all there at the end.
Fake Diesel, who thankfully we'll never hear from ever again.
But think about that. That's Kane, too, in that final.
No, I mean, like, we'll never hear of the Fake Diesel character. We'll obviously hear from Kane.
Yeah, and we'll never hear the end of Kane and his ruining of everything.
Local man.
I wrote Flash Funk ruins everything. No, Kane ruins everything.
Kane ruins everything.
JR notes that Flash Funk isn't related to Terry Funk. Thank you, JR.
Yeah, yep.
And there's some really good continuity with Mankind and Terry Funk where they just immediately start brawling all over the ring.
Yeah.
And I'll let you take it back to Austin and Bret.
And that's why there's controversy. Because when Austin gets thrown over the ropes the first time, Mankind and Terry Funk are brawling on the other side of the ring, and the refs are all trying to break it up so no one sees Austin get eliminated. Mm-hmm. So he quickly jumps back in the ring, to which Bret Hart at that point had already only had one person left, right?
Yeah.
He eliminates
it was Vader and Undertaker trying to eliminate each other, and Bret trying to eliminate Fake Diesel.
Yeah, yeah. And then basically what ends up happening is Austin jumps back in and then waits, and then at the very end throws Bret Hart over the top rope to the floor and wins.
He also eliminates Undertaker and Vader.
Yep. He does. He puts in work.
Yeah, fuck, he deserved it. I mean, well, he did get eliminated, but still.
He was also in the match for the longest time, 45 minutes and 7 seconds.
Fuck, I wanted Austin to win, so I don't care if he cheats.
Yeah, I don't even care. Fuck you, Bret.
It's a random little, because again, I'm always like, I'm wondering what they're doing with Austin here if he doesn't have anyone to wrestle at Mania. Like, if our original WrestleMania plan, which according to Bret would have been Sid and Undertaker for the title, no matter what. Yeah. And him versus Shawn in a hair versus hair ladder match.
Good God.
That would have drawn. It just makes me wonder what Austin would be doing. Is he supposed to interfere during the Bret Shawn match?
Yeah, what the hell is supposed to happen there?
Or does he fight the Bulldog? Or?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well.
So that's how that Royal Rumble match ended. It was quite long. It was like probably like, what, 50 minutes in total?
Yeah, they have to edit it quite a bit for the Royal Rumble Raw. Yeah. Because it's only a half hour on the Royal Rumble Raw.
Yeah. Then we have the main event.
It's great seeing the fans react to Austin sneaking back in. I really like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because some people are like, oh, no.
And some people are like, yeah. Like me, if I was there. I'd be so happy.
Yeah. And they make it easy because they're like, it's not like 98 where everyone's wearing an Austin 316 shirt. Some people are. So you're like, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. I think. Do you want to go to the main event now?
Oh, I had to watch this on mute.
Oh God, yeah.
The Whistler.
Oh yeah.
The Whistler, the worst supervillain of all time, is
the Whistler.
The Whistler,
the worst heel, the best heel of all time.
It sounds like a skiing resort in British Columbia.
Yep.
There's a woman in the front row who's like, I don't even want to do it because it would rape your ears, but she's whistling the entire. Oh, and now people are going to think she's like singing a song. No, she's like doing that like annoying thing you do at a baseball game or a hockey game.
Yeah.
The entire match.
She's like, it's like a wolf whistle almost, but it's louder and more irritating.
It's really high pitched. I kept trying to watch this match, and my girlfriend would dip her head in and be like, what the fuck are you watching? I can hear that. And so I put my headphones in to be good, and she'd still stare at me because like the frequency was so high that you could hear it, even with headphones in.
Yeah, it's really, really awful.
Yeah. Decent match, though.
Yep. Shawn Michaels had the flu for this match.
Oh, God. And he also had no smile and his bad back and broken knee.
He has a smile for now.
Just go to WCW already, Shawn. Jesus.
There's a really, although I do like the camera following HBK through the entranceway.
Yeah.
Really good.
He is the cool, like...
More. Yeah.
He has like the dun entrance where it's like backstage, right?
Yeah, and then you can see he's like about 25 feet away from the...
Yeah, he's like sitting there, like when you're soaking in the crowd, and the crowd can see him, and they're cheering and all that. Yeah, it's great.
I think it's. Yeah, I want to talk about that more when we get to WrestleMania 13 because I've got an interesting point about that.
His attire is really good for this one too.
Oh yeah. He's got the cowboy hat. And
I like the cowboy hat. I like the mirrored outfit that he wings. Yeah, he starts wearing that, and that'll go with his Jesus Christ Superstar outfit that he wears in his comeback and stuff too.
Yep.
Do you ever see the time that he had one of his little outfits and it gets caught in the stage?
Oh, really?
While he's praying, like he does the prayer and it gets caught in the mesh, so he has to take it off while lying down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so funny.
That's amazing. This is probably the only place I was thinking to myself where HBK is more popular than Sid.
Yeah, he's really popular
at this point in time.
They did a great job
because
of
everyone
keeping
fucking loves Sid.
I'm sure it was just Texas not having the internet at this point in time.
Yeah, and realizing HBK's from there.
There's no smarks in the crowd.
Yeah. It's more of a continuation from the In Your House It's Time incident. Like the Jose Lothario and all that shit was going on with Sid and him powerbombing Pete.
I feel like this is the last time we see Jose Lothario.
It is. It is, actually. You don't see him after this, I don't think.
Shawn just gets on a plane and leaves him in San Antonio.
Probably. He says, get your own broke
Get
ass.
the fuck out of my company.
He's like, get the fuck out of my ring.
This is my time.
I'm not sure if they just wanted HBK to win in his hometown here. That's why they gave him the title or not.
Yeah, it was the plan all along since SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. It works okay.
It works fine.
He's over. He's popular. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
There's a missed spot, like, where Sid is choking Pete Lothario and Jose Lothario.
Oh, yeah?
And I was really wanting HBK to just give him Sweet Chin Music at that point.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I like that kind of idea, but it didn't happen. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that now. Yeah. Yep.
And anything else? Shawn uses the camera, which is cool. It's it gives him a bit of an edge.
Yeah.
Good revenge for what happened before.
Oh, very good revenge.
And Vince is going on about how Shawn's the leader of the new generation, and I'm rolling my eyes.
Oh, yeah. A lot. Rolling
it's like,
your
imagine
eyes.
where you'll be in a year, Vince, when you have Mike Tyson and The Undertaker locked in a burning coffin and all these other hilarious things. And
God.
You're talking about the new generation still? No.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
I wrote, just give it up, Vince. The fire's started already.
So we get to the Raws in between the Royal Rumble and the next pay-per-view.
The Tweener Raws.
These are important-ass Raws, though.
Probably the most important Raws of all
time.
time.
Some big things happen during this time.
Maybe that's hyperbole, but there are a couple Raws here where you're like, this is very important.
Very important.
Yep.
What's happening during this time? Bret Hart is leaning more towards his heel side. First draw back from the Royal Rumble, he gets in the ring, comes out with no music,
no attire,
and just comes out and says,
"No graphic." Quit. Yeah. There's no production.
Basically, just comes out with. What's that?
There's no production element to it, which I really like.
At all.
Can you hear me? Okay, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no production element.
I think I cut you off.
So. No, it's fine. Where he comes out and there's no graphic, there's no music, there's no attire. The camera's not focused on him. The announcers aren't even noticing him or talking. They're kind of they're like, "Oh, welcome to Raw."
Yeah. Yeah, they don't even really notice.
And he comes out and he just immediately starts talking to Vince.
Yeah.
And he's like, "This is bullshit." No, he doesn't say that yet.
Not yet.
He says, "This isn't right. I've been like, there's no." It's a very rational way he does it. He's like, "I feel like I'm never going to get my shot. So why am I here? I'm just going to quit."
Yep.
And then Austin runs out and does a great promo.
Oh, so good.
Where he's like, his mic doesn't work, and he's literally cutting a promo for like 5 minutes.
Are you gonna get me a mic that works? Or I'm gonna beat somebody's ass.
Or I'm gonna whip your ass, son.
Yeah, it's so good.
And there's some girl in the front row who's like in love with him.
Yeah.
Because she's screaming her ass off, and he goes, "Knock it off."
Just shoots on this girl. It's like
he immediately stops, and then
it's like Shawn Michaels with Sonny. Shut the fuck up!
I love this promo. I almost want to do a soundbite here.
I'm supposed to face Psycho Sid tonight, and some guy, a 350-pound buffoon that calls himself Gorilla Monsoon, the commissioner, says no, Psycho Sid is at home with a concussion. Psycho Sid may be at home with a concussion and an ice pack on his head, but he's also got a yellow stripe running right down the middle of his back. As far as Gorilla Monsoon goes, I got a big bunch of bananas, and I can tell you where to stick each and every one of them. You want me to face The Undertaker, you can bring his dead ass out here because I threw it over the top rope last night, and I'll do the exact same thing right now. So bring him on out. I got something for him.
This is the one where he's like threatening to shove bananas up Gorilla Monsoon's ass, and
Yeah.
he's taunting The Undertaker to bring his dead ass to the ring.
Beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, like, god damn, how is he supposed to be a heel when he gets to cut promos like this?
Yeah, I don't think. I wonder if this is where they gave him more mic time to see what. How do you need more mic time though? The guy's a stud.
Yeah, well, again, this is another Austin thing, and this is how you're successful. So anyone who ever wants to be successful, listen to these guys who've never been a wrestler in their life. The secret, apparently, is if you have a problem, you bitch about it to Vince.
Apparently, that's the way to go about it.
Vince,
from what I've heard,
like Mick and Austin have said this in the past, that like one time Austin noticed that his promos were being cut on Raw, so he went to Vince. He's like, he can't do that to me because I'm nothing without my promos. It's like,
yeah.
There's bigger guys than me, there's stronger guys than me, there's like more popular guys than me.
Yeah.
But like no one can touch me when I do my promo. Don't cut my promos. And Vince was like, well, all right.
And then guess what happened, Vince? He rebuilt your goddamn company.
Yeah, he really
God.
He rebuilt it brick by brick
Into a fucking skyscraper.
and then they fucked it all up.
Yep.
So John Cena had to make like a modest version of it.
Yeah.
Actually, they're doing pretty well, all things considering. Like, they're not popular, but I feel like they're making like a ton of money and they're very stable. So,
Yep.
yeah, I can't fault John Cena for that.
Yeah, I guess not.
Did you want to take a breather, Gary? Are you yawning there?
But I'm just yawning because I woke up a bit. We can cut this little section out.
Okay, we can keep it in. I don't care.
Yep, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Not big a deal.
All right, so Austin, this whole program takes place the entire episode. I love this one. This happens in Raw's, like the one where Vince and Austin are finally going to fight.
Yeah.
Or the one where, don't you love it how you can call it? It's like a Friends episode. The one where...
Yeah, you could tell. Like we know it in and out so well. We know exactly which one we're talking
The one where Mankind gets his title shot, and he like it's the entire episode's building up around that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other ones. The one where Austin is. Oh, I have to boost the invasion for a second here. The one where Austin quits and he doesn't want to fight the Alliance, and he's like in a bar the entire night.
That is such a good. You know what? I'm going to go out and say this right now. That is my favorite fucking like Raw long storyline that's ever happened, it's probably still it's in my humble opinion, and feel free to tell me if I'm wrong. It is arguably one of the largest crowd pops in wrestling history.
It's a good one. When
he comes back, like when Michael Cole is killing the commentary. Like he's like, we need Austin, we need out there chanting for him, will he come out? It's like, psh, and the glass shatters, and the crowd finds like another level, and they just lose their mind. It's great. I can't wait to get there.
I love that one where he's got the he's playing pool and he sees like
and
Freddie
he slams
Blassie.
the balls on the table.
Yeah.
And, oh, it's so good. And then Deborah's like, Steve, where are you going? And he like just gets in his truck and takes off.
Well, he would have done something he regretted if Deborah was around.
That was also the same night that Kurt Angle came out and faced Raven in like a hardcore match and just beat the hell out of him.
Does he win the title that night?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I love Kurt Angle around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get back to Bret.
So yeah, the whole storyline is Monsoon and Vince are trying to deal with Bret's situation.
Good God.
And they come out actually while the Nation are leaving during a match. And you actually see Bart Gunn walk by them too, who's like injured. So,
Lol, Bart Gunn.
It's cool. Like the production elements they try here that make it seem a little more reality based.
Reality based, and sort of like this wasn't a planned thing. It's just we're going on the fly.
Yeah, and they screw Austin over again by coming out with this Final Four match, which might be the first Fatal 4-Way match in history in the WWF. I think.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I can't think of any other ones.
Yep.
Yeah. Nothing too exciting. Bret comes back. Austin and him fight. The Undertaker and Vader come down as well.
Yep.
Anything on your end, or?
I think that's like pretty much it for that. I mean, like Bret kind of backstage learned the new plans for WrestleMania and how, Bret and Shawn's whole story would go. Found out that Shawn thought that the hair versus hair match was too predictable and took that as Shawn didn't want to drop the belt. or job to him.
It's a stupid storyline anyway. I don't blame him.
I'm glad it didn't happen because it's fucking retarded.
I don't need to see short-haired Shawn Michaels either.
He's already balding now.
I really like the segment with all four of the Final Four participants.
Yep.
And Shawn Michaels are in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
You remember this? And they all come out and they all kind of talk, like, mouth off on Shawn.
Yeah, they do.
And my favorite part is Vince being like, "You're forgetting about Psycho Sid. Why are you forgetting about him?" I'm like, "You didn't invite him to the ring, Vince." That's why everyone keeps forgetting about him.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And then Undertaker's like, "I've been, like, I used to be a force around here. I'm going to be again."
Yep.
Yeah, like, I've been fucking off. And true, Undertaker hasn't done shit since 91, when he first won the title for a few days.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he hasn't done anything or if it's just they didn't have anything for him to do.
He was always like a force. Like, he was always, but he was never winning the title, going on long runs, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think always the point is that he doesn't need the title.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, we've got some big events coming up here, some big Raws.
Plus, you have to come up with a way to take the title off him, which I doubt they appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. We got a big deal here now. The first 2-hour Raw is February the 3rd episode. It's in Texas, Beaumont, Texas. Again, Texas for some reason.
They love Texas.
I think a big contributing factor to this was the response that the Brian Pillman gun angle got. I think that was a big part.
Yeah, for sure. I could see them bringing it out for that.
Yeah. They realized that, maybe we could go for a 2-hour program, which I think at the time was like a good idea, but at the same time, like, when they go to 2 hours, you first realize, like, how much filler they have to have and how many jobbers they have.
They don't have a deep roster at this point.
Their talent is very, very thin.
Which is great when we bring out, like, when we can watch New Age Outlaw matches or D'Lo Brown matches. But at this point, it's like, Leif Cassidy versus, I don't know.
And that's not even a hit on Al Snow. Al Snow is an amazing wrestler.
Oh, yeah, and that's, like, when they bring out the hardcore division, he's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
And all that jazz, too.
I'm also really surprised, though, when this episode first aired, that they didn't mention that it was a 2-hour Raw. Like, at all. They just went on like normal. I'm like, that's a pretty big deal. You're doubling your camera time. Like, you should probably say something about that.
Yeah, doubling your ad time, too.
And commercial time.
Yep, you think that they would have been like, 2 hours, all that sort of shit.
Yeah, they never do that, ever.
Back when I loved TNA, I was really jazzed whenever they do these 2-hour specials, and when they finally went to 2 hours, but this is actually successful.
This is the length that I want Raw to be now.
Yes. With the bit of an overrun.
With a bit of an overrun. Just have it be like it was when it was 2 hours before. Like, have it be, it starts at 8:55. Or sorry, it starts at 8:55, goes to 11:05. You have like 10 minutes there for if there's an overrun.
Oh, I see. Well, living in the West Coast, I used to get to watch it at like 6 o'clock every day. It was pretty good.
Yeah, see, I had to watch it at 9 because it was.
I could just imagine trying to convince my parents to let me stay up to watch Raw at like midnight every day.
Most of the time, I didn't. I just was lucky enough as a kid to have a TV in my room.
Oh, lucky bastard!
So I was just like sneaking it really quietly.
Yeah,
like,
I'm watching.
I didn't even have to watch it on mute. So
I'm watching all this shit when I was 9.
Yeah.
The TSN, and for those who don't know, the TSN version of this, was really, really edited.
Yeah.
I got in it late, but even that, I could tell things were fucky. Like, they would cut away when Mae Young was being powerbombed through the table.
Yeah, and thanks TSN.
It was always like fit. That's why they lost the NHL license, by the way, because they did shit like that.
Really?
No.
I was like, wow, that's a really good inside scoop, Peter.
Young me cursed them to lose. No, I just hated that shit because it would always be a cut to the crowd and they'd be wearing like Austin 316 shirts from 1997 and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
Yeah, stop this, Vince. But then, like, I mean, other than the first 2 hour, like, nothing of note happened on that Raw, like, at all.
Nope.
Which is hilarious because you should be really pushing that. Then we have the Skydome Raw the week after that.
Oh, I would have loved to have gone to this thing.
Yep.
Come back. God damn.
there was another Skydome Raw that happened after this.
99.
That is the highest attended Raw in history. But for the time, this one had 25,000 plus people, and for its time was the highest attended Raw for what we've currently seen.
The 99 one, they get like WCW Nitro in like the Georgia Dome numbers for like 43,000.
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
I mean, the place could fit 68, but it's nuts.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Considering a normal one would be in like an ACC, kind of like 18,000.
Yep. This is the dawn of a new era, Peter.
I don't know why they don't do more dome shows, Garrett. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know.
I feel like it's because
let's write Vince McMahon a stern letter.
I feel like it's because everything would look different, and they don't like to do that. They like all their pay-per-views and their Raws and their SmackDowns and their Superstars and their NXT. Well, not their NXT, but their like everything has to have that stupid HD screen.
Yeah.
With the exact remember in the old days they used to have like hooks hanging from the ceilings and cars and wreckage and all kinds of
cool, and it was fucking awesome.
Like awesome sets that look shitty, but like it made the pay-per-view look and feel different.
Yep.
Whatever.
Fuck, it's so ridiculous.
But I digress. It's
amazing. It's amazing though. Like that's
it's the sort of thing where I could be like, I remember
this is 18 years ago now, and it's amazing how far they've come.
I remember like pay-per-view. I can remember pay-per-views based on what it looked like, you know?
Yep.
Whatever.
I'm
pissed now.
This is a monumental Raw apart from the fact that it's the highest attended Raw so far.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first Raw of the new era, I say, because this is when they stopped taping Raws for several weeks.
Oh yeah, we're going live.
We're going live.
Although, Garrett, I think this one wasn't live outside of Canada.
No, it was not. But inside Canada,
yes,
it was.
Us lucky people who are TSN isn't editing it.
We did it. They did start traveling weekly, and I think that is a huge reason for the ratings turnaround. You can't have storylines that are filmed a month in advance, because I think that's what ended up happening with Mr. Perfect. That Mr. Perfect storyline we talked about in the last episode. They had him planned for like this weird feud with Triple H, and then he was going to be in Triple H's corner, and then all of a sudden he was gone the next week.
And you can't like work with what's hot, what's different, because you get the exact same crowd reaction for 4 weeks, so you don't really get a gauge on who's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could be a total bust.
Yeah. So, with the Wild Man.
Yep. Yeah. The Raw itself was used mostly feature fat. Yeah, this is why it's called the Royal Rumble Raw.
It's a good Raw. I liked it.
Buddy outside the States, but to us in Canada who love our Skydome. Skydome Raw. Fuck you, Rogers.
Shout out to the Rogers Center.
Yeah, it was just used to show like they had a cut edited, cutting board table version of the Royal Rumble happen, which was kind of nice to see, because if people couldn't pay for the pay-per-view, at least they got a really good gist of what occurred in like the match that the pay-per-view is named after.
Yeah,
which was nice.
I never got to pay for the pay-per-view. Like I never got to watch any of the pay-per-views. I think the first one I ever saw live was Royal Rumble 2000.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you picked a good one to start.
Picked a good one, eh?
Good God. Yeah.
What was the first one you ever saw?
My first pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Probably just before that.
Yeah?
Probably something late 99.
Like
I'll probably remember when I get there.
No Mercy?
Maybe No Mercy. Like the video game. There's some good matches on this Raw, though. There's some good matches.
A really good Vader-Austin match.
Yeah, another tough man match, because we don't have enough of those.
Well, I mean, they do a good job of killing each other, but I find some of these tough man matches, it's like, these guys are stars. Don't let them just go out there and have this amazing match when you can, sell it down the line and make me pay for it. I feel like there's some, value here, seeing Austin versus Vader in a match one day, or Austin versus Mankind, which we'll see like 400 times in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vader and Austin was great. There was a Mero Triple H IC title match, which obviously Mero lost again.
I was saying WCW must have done a bait and switch like the week before.
Oh, yeah?
Because Vince keeps, like, every time they cut to a commercial, he'll be like, there will be no bait and switches on this episode. So, I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Vince was shameless in his burial attempts at WCW. So,
well, did you see when they start burying Robin Hood and they start talking about La Femme Nikita?
Yeah,
because La Femme Nikita was the show that went after Raw, and Robin Hood was the one that went after Nitro.
Yeah,
and I'm like, who cares? Who cares what show goes on after Nitro? Stop burying it and focus on your own shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny.
We had a Farouk and Mankind versus Ahmed and Undertaker match, which is weird.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Weird teams. I'm wondering if they only made this a tag team because they didn't have time for 2 individual matches.
Yeah, I could see them combining the two.
Or people didn't want to see the same matches again that they've been seeing for like literally 6 months.
So weird. The part where Undertaker just randomly chokes Ahmed backstage.
Yeah.
And Ahmed just takes his hand off his throat with no real flinching.
Yep.
Which I thought was cool, but
and then we have a Savio Vega versus Flash Funk match, which was actually a decent match because Flash Funk is really good at what he does.
He's really good, but he's been given a shitty gimmick.
Yeah.
He's been given the Brodus Clay gimmick.
The Brodus Clay again. There's a D'Lo Brown sighting. Flash Funk does a really good splash off of the top turnbuckle to the outside on top of D'Lo Brown, or as we know him right now, Nameless Nation member number 42. That Raw was pretty good overall. I mean, it was a Skydome Raw. It holds a special place in my heart for that reason.
Yeah. They should do it again.
Yep. Then we get to, God damn it, come back to Toronto.
Or do more Dome Raws. Jesus Christ, try something different.
Yep.
I need something different. God damn.
Then we get to Thursday Raw Thursday.
Raw Thursday.
Which takes place in Lowell, Massachusetts.
But what day does it take place? Thursday.
Yeah, I know it's a Thursday.
Raw
Thursday. So much so that they had to say Thursday.
Don't you love the music video they made for it? Thursday.
Yeah,
Raw Thursday.
Kind of insane.
Yeah, it's funny. This is a crazy, crazy Raw.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. I mean,
first thing I have down, Rock versus Triple H, and Rock wins his first title. The Intercontinental Championship.
This is the second Triple H Rock match.
Yep.
In their long storied history.
Rock wins his title, and then he does his best Boy Scout impression after the match, saying that he's going to make everyone proud, and he's going to fight for the fans, and all this shit.
Kevin Kelly, I'm gonna make my fans happy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my family proud.
Pretty much.
And his music's like...
And then I'm going to film The Tooth Fairy in 2012.
Well, his music actually is got a bit of what the Rock... I feel like they cannibalized his music for The Rock later because it's got this...
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, but it's not the actual theme yet.
No, but it still has that twang, right?
Yep. Yes, it does.
All right. I wasn't imagining that.
I was thinking that too. And then after that, we get to the really big important thing here.
Wait, can we talk about how bad Rock's promos are at this point?
Yes, we can, because we can sum them up in one word, and that word is atrocious.
I just want to make my family happy.
Yeah, shut up.
I'm going to give it my... his promos, and it's not even a joke. I'm going to give it my best. I mean, he's a great opponent, and I just want to be champion, so I'm going to try my best.
Yeah, he's trying so hard to be a face.
Apparently, Cornette, when he was, looking at Rock the first time, he was like, "Holy fuck, this guy's good." So he went to Vince and he's like, "Whatever you do with this guy, he's going to be your world champion in 3 years. Push him, and present him like he's your world champion."
Yep.
And then he's like, he did it in 2 years. He became champion in 2 years.
Yep.
And they presented him like a fucking goobar with this saxophone music.
His fucking crazy fro.
And his stupid hair. And his I just want to make my family happy. And then they do this with Roman Reigns in 2015.
Yeah, they do.
I'm part of the Samoan... hold on, I got to do my Roman voice. Michael, No, it's bad. Okay. Anyway, Roman does the I'm a
Samoan.
Yeah, I'm trying to support my Samoan family too. All this bullshit.
God.
Fuck, be your own person.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
Back to
Raw Thursday.
What we were doing.
Yep. So I think, Peter, we've come to our first attitude adjustment. Mm-hmm. Our third so far, but our first one of this episode, which we have aptly, obviously titled "Shawn Loses His Smile."
We'll need to make a list of all of these at some point.
Yep, but Shawn loses his smile.
You know who came up with that?
Nope.
His mother.
Really?
Yeah, his mother said to him, like, he was visiting her, and his mother was like, "You lost your smile. Where's your smile gone?"
That's actually the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, so, like, when it comes to
That's so sad.
Yeah.
God.
Because he was legitimately unhappy.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
So, like, I mean, when it comes like that sounds like a little, like, I wish he kind of said that, but I think if he was like, "My mama said that I lost my smile." What is with my accents today?
I don't know, but they're funny.
I'm stuck on Rocky Maivia still.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I feel like if
Yeah,
he was a little more...
he was scheduled to drop the belt to Sid.
Yes, he would have lost here to Sid.
To Sid by interference by Bret.
Yeah.
Because Bret's going more heel at this point.
Yeah, Bret would have fucked him over. And then...
Yeah. He wasn't even going to be champion going into WrestleMania 13.
Yeah, and Shawn would have fucked him over for... Can you imagine? Jesus Christ, Vince. A Bret-Shawn match would have done really, really well.
Yeah.
Instead, we end up with this WrestleMania, which gets one of, like, the lowest buy rates of the year. It does worse than 5 WCW pay-per-views.
Good God.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Oh, my God.
I think it does worse than the Survivor Series. Which, I mean... Which would have had the match everyone wanted to see. So,
yep.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I did enjoy my Austin versus Bret. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vince basically didn't want the belt on Bret.
He wanted it on the big guys.
He went with his boy, HBK.
No, but he also wanted it on the big guys at this point. He wanted it on Sid.
Yep.
And Undertaker.
But that's why when Bret won the belt at Final Four, he lost it to Sid the very next Raw.
Which I love.
Yeah,
love that.
Undertaker apparently said after Shawn's speech about his knee and about how he might never wrestle again and shit, Undertaker didn't believe him at all.
He said, "I'll believe it when I see the scar. That little fucker is faking it.
Doesn't want to drop the belt."
All right.
Yeah. HBK saying it could be career-ending, so he didn't have to drop the title. Is basically what was going on.
Yeah.
Crowd didn't give a fuck. No. They were chanting, "We want Sid," when HBK is talking about a career-ending injury.
Yes. It did not. They had to keep cutting to girls in the audience with tears in their eyes and all that. Yeah.
Which was probably just like a bottle of fucking eye drops.
I love the fact that Bret, like, goes back to this later, and it makes him a bigger heel.
Yep.
That little phony Shawn Michaels had all of you crying. And yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That he brings that up later.
The ass-kissing here by Vince is... It's hard to watch.
Even JR gets in on it.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal. It's so brutal to watch. Like, it's... Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, apparently he was in tears backstage when he was telling everyone, so...
Yeah, there's a meeting with Bret.
I don't know what the fuck him and Shawn had back then. It was very strange.
Yep. Man, I don't know. HBK is just so selfish at this time. Like, he's so... selfish.
I'm just imagining Brock Lesnar doing this and Vince getting all teary-eyed and being like, "Well, thank you for the memories, Brock."
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, well.
Well, then again, like, it's kind of a good thing it happened, right? Because, like, Austin could face Bret at WrestleMania.
Yeah, you can only imagine what would have happened.
What would happen if who would Austin have had a match with?
Bulldog, maybe.
But yeah, I guess maybe.
But Bulldog and Owen are having their own issues at this point. It wouldn't have been Mankind or Vader because they had their own thing. I couldn't tell you.
God.
It probably would have been like Mark Merrow or someone.
Yeah, maybe that's what they do for Mark Merrow, and then like Austin would be 1999 Jeff Jarrett and just like going all chauvinistic on Sable. Well, I mean that's a big deal. Like that was a huge thing that happened because that shapes what's going on for quite a significant amount of time.
HBK does this so often though. Like it's one of his first runs as Intercontinental Champion. He just left.
Yep.
And then he only dropped it in the ladder match. And then later on, when he got beat up by all those Marines in New York,
oh yeah,
he didn't want to drop the belt, so he just gave it away.
Yep.
Like fuck. Stop giving the man titles if this is the way he treats them.
Yep, he's just a dick.
I'm just imagining like him I know the stories in 98 where he's like pretty much thinking of doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And the Undertaker is just taping his fist and staring at him the entire time.
Yeah. I can see that.
I will kick the shit out of you if you do not drop the belt.
Yep. Then we go to some actual good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sid versus Austin at this Raw was really good.
One of the first times you can tell Austin's really over.
Yeah. Crowd really seemed to like the match overall. It was a prelude to Austin's brawling style again. Like he stomps a mud hole in Sid like almost to start the match. The crowd gets more behind Austin at some points than they are behind Sid, which is kind of insane.
Crowds are really into him, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, of course, since this is a Raw and we're talking about this episode, Austin does not get a clean victory or defeat because Bret Hart interferes and gets him disqualified.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprising literally no one. Bret Hart is like 1996, 97 version of Local Man Ruins Everything for this era. Then we end the Raw Thursday with Vader versus Bret.
Mm-hmm.
Really, there's some really cool things in this match. Bret power slams Vader, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, my favorite point in the whole match. And I just imagined when I channeled all my hatred for Vader's previous promo into the power slam because his promo was so bad.
Sid level.
Like, who's beat this guy? Who's beat that guy? I'm this guy. My name's Vader. And does like face contortions really close to the camera before they cut away to commercial.
Yeah.
It's fucking so weird. Like, I'm just like, I don't understand where they were going with the promo. Just terrible.
He just botched it.
Oh my god.
I wonder if this is the Raw where there's apparently a Raw where Austin gets a really good response.
Oh yeah?
And he's backstage and Brian Pillman comes up to him and he's like, should I do the impersonation? I'm really bad with impersonations.
Oh, it's about Brian Pillman?
Yeah.
That's going to be hard.
Let me do it.
His voice is destroyed.
Oh, Steve, you're a babyface now.
That's pretty good.
You're a babyface. And Steve's like, no, I'm a heel.
Yeah.
And Brian's like, no, you're a babyface. Steve's a babyface. And he apparently ran off.
Steve's a babyface. God, it's so...
And apparently really pissed Austin off.
Yeah. Was it this one? I thought that was after WrestleMania.
No, it was just before he turned. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. And Austin's book, he's like, I was getting really pissed off at Brian at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining Brian as like little Kane and Best running around. And
yeah, I love Brian Pillman. Goddamn. Then we get to the In Your House Final Four.
Chattanooga.
Is this 13? In Your House 13?
I don't know.
I think so.
How many people live in Chattanooga?
I think I didn't even know Chattanooga existed.
I'm looking this up. I've been considering moving here lately. The fourth largest city in the U.S. state of Tennessee.
Wow.
Population of 167,000. I'm kind of looking for a small town, so this might not be the place to move.
Move to Coburg so we can record these in person.
Coburg.
It's only got 20,000.
It's a date. Yeah, we're moving to Coburg.
Yeah.
All right.
But then we get to the Final Four. Chattanooga, February 16th of 97.
What a card.
What a card, indeed.
And it was February 16th.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry. My apologies.
Yeah.
I jumped the gun going from the 16th to 97 and 97 on the...
The one time I had the details here, actually.
Yeah. So we start with I've got it broken. This pay-per-view broken up into two sections. One is the undercard, and one is the actual Final Four match.
Okay.
The undercard, you have Mark Marrow versus Leif Cassidy, Al Snow. It was high flying. It was really good. I like this match a lot. Sable starts getting more involved in matches more here. She, like you said, she kicked the Undertaker.
I think they were going to turn her.
Yeah, I think they were going to try and turn her as well, because she slaps Leif Cassidy here before the end of the match, causing Mark Marrow to do like a suicide dive through the ropes.
Yeah,
and then going in and getting the whatever the hell his finisher is again.
I read a good article on WrestleCrap.com that that kind of collaborated the idea I had where she was basically going to be Miss Elizabeth 2.0.
Oh, yeah?
Because there was a brief period of time where Mark Morrow starts wearing these like Macho Man robes and she starts wearing a dress.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, do you remember that? She's like crying and stuff. And
but nobody was it wasn't over because no one wanted that to happen.
No, it wasn't over. And, people liked her in her leather and sunglasses and kicking people and all those fun things. So.
During this match, King says arguably one of the worst things he's ever said. I'm not even going to soundbite this because it's fucking terrible and I don't advocate it at all.
Okay.
He says at one point, JR and Vince make reference to Sable wearing sunglasses as sort of a fashion statement, and the King alludes to the fact that Mark Morrow is beating Sable behind the scenes, like domestic violence is going on. And King says a line in here that's "Never hit a woman with glasses. Use your fist." Which is like the worst thing I've ever heard come out of someone's mouth.
Try not to laugh.
It's so bad.
It's awful. Yeah.
It's one of the worst things I've ever heard the King say. Like I can honestly think of.
It's just one of those jokes where you're like, "What the fuck were you?"
It's one of those things that he clearly just mentioned like off the cuff, and like you would expect no one would notice.
Yeah.
But that was one of those things that I heard, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what the hell?
Yeah. Use your fist.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that match was overall pretty good.
Yeah. Nation of Domination.
Yep.
Have a very boring match with Bart Gunn and Goldust and Flash Funk.
Which is the weirdest tag team ever.
Yeah, it was like a Survivor Series.
Yeah. Fucking Bart Gunn.
I can't wait till he gets knocked out.
We have Rock versus Triple H again. Speaking of long feuds, we talk about Goldust versus Rock. Good God. Goldust versus Triple H. Triple H versus Rock is long as hell, too.
It's amazing, and it's going to go on this year.
Yeah.
Next year, there's going to be a Rock versus Triple H match.
This is the one thing about this, though, that was nice was the debut of Chyna post-match. Marlena backs herself up against the barricade in the corner, and this woman, who they allude to just bought a ticket, comes up behind her and just chokes Marlena, puts her in like a sleeper hold almost. And it's Chyna, and JR is like, "We like you getting involved, folks, and having a good time, but that's taking it too far."
Good God, is that a woman?
Yeah.
It's JR's first description of her.
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that man and a family.
I just imagine someone like time traveling and be like, "This woman's going to be in Playboy one day," and you're like, "What?"
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And the man she's representing is going to own the entire company at some point.
Yeah. Yep.
Be like, what?
Doug Furness and Phil LaFawn versus Owen Hart and the Bulldog.
Oh yeah. This is a never-ending feud.
I can't say enough about Owen and Bulldog. I know it seems like I'm spewing every time, but holy fuck, they're so really talented.
Yeah.
Every match I watch them in is just a goddamn pleasure from the usual shit.
And LaFawn and
Furness are also good,
despite being charisma magnets or black holes.
Yeah,
they do a great job during this match and the 45 other matches they have with.
Yep. It's a really funny part in before the disqualification in this one. Is this the one where Owen shoves Bulldog and then Bulldog
he slaps him?
Does he? Oh yeah, and then and then Bulldog clotheslines Owen.
Yeah, it's great.
And then Phil LaFawn goes in for a pin, and then Bulldog has to break it up after his own move.
Yeah,
it's a
really funny match just to watch because there's all this double teaming going on, and
yeah, it's really funny.
And the announcers are like just going on the ref because he's letting all this stuff happen.
Yeah, it's really funny
because you'll be distracted
too. Like overall,
yeah, both teams are doing
black holes and then good guys.
I really admire the continuity they have with like Owen. Whenever Owen hits a enziguri, they always mention the fact that he did that to HBK and it like killed HBK in '95. And I'm like, yeah, that's shit. Really there's some good continuity here.
Yeah. Good. Then we move to the main event, the Final Four match.
Final Four.
The match was pretty much made to resolve the controversy of how the Royal Rumble ended. Mm-hmm. In storyline, anyway.
Yes.
That was the story, is it was made to resolve controversy from the Royal Rumble ending. Austin has the worst fucking flu I've ever seen.
He's green. He's green to the gills.
Oh, it's so bad.
Poor guy.
He cuts a promo before the match, and it takes him like 10 seconds to register that it's his time to talk.
Oh, no.
I think it's he's that he doesn't want to be sick on camera. Like, he looks that bad. Bret, in the match, when he eliminates him, just drops him out the gentlest elimination I've ever seen.
It's a very strange match with their, pinfalls and...
Yeah, there's pinfall submissions, or you can be eliminated by going over the top rope.
I would have done just, pinfalls.
Because nobody fucking gets eliminated by pinfall or submission.
It's very strange.
Everyone goes over the top rope in this match. That's not to take away from the match, because it's fucking awesome. I love this match.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really good. At one point, Vader gets a cut above his eye.
Yeah.
And it's arguably one of the great... If it's bleeding the hard way, it's probably the greatest...
It's such a good cut.
Way.
Yeah.
A bunch of it, congeals underneath his eye socket where his mask...
I think, it gets all in the cut, the mask.
And his whole eye socket is just red.
Yeah.
It looks like his whole eye's missing.
I'm amazed it took him as long as it did to take his mask off.
And I like when he does that, too.
Yeah, because his fucking eye was cut.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like every elimination match, all four competitors were in it up until the last 3 or 4 minutes of the match.
Yep.
What happens?
First.
Bret dumps out Austin, which is a real shame, but we have not seen the last of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I think it worked out as well as it could have been. Maybe a Bret versus Austin final 2 would have worked well, but they needed Undertaker to go to the main event, so I understand.
Yeah. And then we have Undertaker and Undertaker and Vader. Derp, got my two big men mixed up.
He punches Vader in the dick.
Punches Vader in the dick on the turnbuckle.
Throws him out.
Throws him over.
Yep.
So Vader's eliminated. Austin comes back to try and interfere, which good for that guy because he could probably just say, fuck it, I'm sick as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Do this your own way. What a trooper. He comes back, tries to get involved, fucks some shit up.
Well, they don't give a shit. I remember Mick Foley had to interfere after his Hell in the Cell match in '98.
Yep.
It's get the fuck out there. You got your spot, bro.
How the fuck is he supposed to do that? He fucking almost died.
He did it. He was fine.
He's a monster. That guy's... Did we use the tax? Yeah, so, and then Bret clotheslines Undertaker over the ropes, and thus Bret wins.
Yes.
And it's really funny because they blast Psycho Sid's music, and Bret can't concentrate on his win. It's really funny.
And then Sid comes out and stares him down.
There's just a big stare down, and
it's an interesting thing that they're using the pay-per-view to promote Raw. So it should have been an indication that something big was going to happen the next night.
Yeah, and also I always love post pay-per-view Raws because they're generally kind of crazy. Always.
Yeah, that's where all the exciting shit happens.
Yeah. With that, we'll go to Raw during this time.
Yes.
After the Final Four, which was a great pay-per-view. I enjoyed it immensely. I might have enjoyed the Final Four more than I enjoyed WrestleMania 13. With the exception of Bret and Austin.
Yeah, WrestleMania 13 wasn't great.
But we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
This time, so we have Sid and Bret Hart matches. The Raw right after this, Sid comes out to try and be like, I'm going to challenge you for the title and all this shit.
Yeah.
Bret Hart puts a figure 4 on Sid around the ring post, which evidently doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it's a good spot, but the crowd goes nuts every time.
It looks great, but it doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
which is good because you'd actually fuck up your leg.
Yeah. Austin keeps interfering for these matches.
Austin keeps interfering all the time,
and he has a good excuse here, where he just kind of he explains it. Why the fuck should Bret? He got fucked out of a WrestleMania title match, so why the hell should Bret and Sid have the privilege of having that opportunity?
He got screwed too.
Yeah, he's pissed.
Yep.
It's funny because JR keeps ragging on him, even though JR is going to become his biggest fan in the next.
Such a mark. It's such a mark. I mean, other than that Raw overall, there's
Sid wins the title. It's pretty important.
Austin has a really cool soundbite as well about the Royal Rumble in the Final Four, which is actually, I think, the one you just mentioned, which is good.
Okay.
That's what I had down.
Cut you off at the point.
That's good, though.
Yeah.
The only other thing that happens on this Raw, you see a pre-1998-99 Hardy Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff has normal blonde hair. Matt is Matt because he's never really changed.
Probably eating a cheeseburger, too.
Yeah. They're wearing these tights that say Hardy Boys on them instead of like black jeans like they always have.
Yep.
Which they actually made. I found that out in the JR podcast when he interviewed them. They made those tights themselves.
Not the jeans, the tights?
Not the jeans, the tights they're wearing on this Raw.
Okay.
Which is really nice because like they look pretty good for being handmade.
They look fine. They look a little jobber to the star-ish, but
yeah, that's exactly what they were.
Yeah.
At this point.
Enhancement talent.
Yeah. But yeah, after that there is the title match. Sid comes out with sort of a fucked up leg from the post figure 4.
Well, it's because Austin clipped him earlier.
Yeah, and Austin clipped him too. But the title changes hands. Bret loses the title on a Raw.
It's never happened before.
Not until this time, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and then it becomes very commonplace during this time period that it happens.
Yep, they do it a lot between 97 and 2001.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 on Raw alone during this time to 2001.
Yep.
And then they take quite a break until like 2006 when Edge wins it because RVD's title reign goes up in smoke.
Yeah.
Weed
smoke, if you know what we mean.
If you pardon the pun.
Jobbing for weed money.
All right, so EC Dub.
Yep, the mini ECW invasion.
I don't want
the February 24th Raw.
I don't want to pull a King and be like, "What the fuck is this shit doing on my Raw?"
But
what the fuck is this doing on my Raw?
Yeah.
I like ECW, and I think this was fine. It was just, it kind of just wasn't the best of what, I don't know. I see ECW, and I don't picture Taz in his cheesy like orange and black attire. I see it like the all black.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because the WWE has warped me on how I see some of these guys. Like the Dudleys, I see them in their camo, not the tie-dye. And this is like what ECW was and what they were. And that's why it's throwing me off a bit.
Yeah.
They just like, they kind of look like B-stars, with the BWO. And it doesn't help that, Jerry Lawler's just ripping them down too.
Yeah, that whole BWO match was just so Jerry Lawler and Paul Heyman could feud over the mic.
And be like, who's this fat fuck in the ring?
Yeah. Lawler goads them on the episode before this one.
Yeah.
So it's like the February 17th episode of Raw.
Yeah.
He's like, you want a match? Like, you show up next week. I'm inviting you here. And he's like, and then they show up. And he's like, oh, you're accepting my little challenge?
That's a good moment where the Eliminators do the total elimination on the ring announcer. And Paul Heyman's like, your challenge has been accepted.
Yeah, it's so good.
In typical Paul Heyman fashion.
Yeah, just yelling like crazy, which we'll hear a lot of in 2001.
Did you see the part where Lawler is saying that BWO is a ripoff, and Heyman's like, oh, what are we ripping off, Jerry? What are we ripping off?
Yeah, he's trying so hard to get him to say the NWO.
And Vince is like, well, it's the NWO clothing line. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, God damn it, Vince. But I think they did. I think they did this just so Vince could later have an excuse to snipe the talent.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that he's
anyone that came here, and also the fact though that like it kind of gets them in the door and they see like, holy shit, this is a pretty high end production.
He gives them like $1,000. He gives Paul Heyman $1,000 a week apparently.
Yeah,
to snipe his talent. I think they could have had a cool idea, like a talent sharing program, like turn it into like an early NXT where you can go.
Yeah, ECW is kind of like the developmental.
Yeah, I thought it would have worked for Vince. I think it was working like that for Vince. He wasn't really giving anything to Paul but money, but I think by the time 2001 like happened and ECW was dead, he was just like, fuck it, I'll just hire Paul and clean out the rest of the roster.
I mean, overall, the invasion really didn't do anything because they just come on and they advance a storyline with Lawler and plug their barely legal pay-per-view.
Yes, they get to sell their pay-per-view.
Yeah, and get significant camera time. Like
they get a shit ton of camera time.
Yeah, there's a lot of matches going on and stuff.
And Paul gets a lot of liberties. Like he gets to be like, has this show sucked without ECW or what?
And like Sabu tries to kill himself,
Oh yeah.
like jumping off of the Raw
Sabu
R.
keeps botching as usual.
Yeah.
There's a great moment where Vince is like, or Paul is like, "You need to watch the tapes. Bruce Pritchard leaves on your desk, Vince." And Vince is like, "Ha ha." and it's not even like the bullshit Vince laugh. Like he's legitimately laughing. Worst Raw ever time or?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah?
I think it's the worst Raw ever time.
I don't think it was as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
Production-wise, it might be the worst Raw ever. I think the worst Raw ever is either Little People's Court or...
Oh, God.
Any of the 2009 ones are pretty bad.
2009. What a year.
Yeah, with the guest host. Remember Rosie versus Trump?
Oh, my God.
Or Hillary versus Obama. Like, anytime they try and do, like, topical shit or Obama...
I don't want to remember that, and now I am.
God. That was the one where people chanted TNA during the match, which is never a good sign.
Yeah. So, basically everything production-wise about this Raw sucks.
Yeah. But it's just a house show, right?
Yeah. Bret versus Triple H, Rocky versus Vader, and those were both pretty mediocre overall. Like, Vader goes for a fucking moonsault, and then Rocky just pins him after he fucks it up. The only good match was the final one for the European title because Owen Hart and Bulldog are masters of their craft and put on a really good technical match.
Yeah, they have an excellent match.
That's the only bright spot in this pile of shit.
Reminded me of the Bulldog Bret match from like SummerSlam '92.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
I lull at this because Triple H was trying to go over Bret. And trying to like get an actual clean win over him while he's on the booking committee.
Yeah, I know. It's
insane,
so funny.
insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He's starting early with this this burial.
Yep.
I gotta go over him.
Yeah, I'm going over him. Yep.
Triple H, he's a WWF champion. Well, fuck, we gotta go over him.
You gotta go over him. Yep. The next episode of Raw, though, March 10th, is the debut of Raw is War, which we will see up until the episode before. The final episode of that will be the episode before September 11th, 2001, because they changed it after that to just Raw because it was obviously they felt it was in very poor taste following the terrorist attacks.
Oh, nice work.
Yep.
They also changed Armageddon that year because of the same reason.
Yep. But that is why Raw is War initially changed.
Yeah,
I actually had no idea that they used the Beautiful People prior to SmackDown.
I love it.
Yeah, great. Brian Pillman shows up here. First time he's been back since they were all taping at his house.
Yeah, he's been gone for a while.
He plugs the fact that he's going to be the co-host on Shotgun Saturday Night this week. And he's going to say what he wants, what he wants, about who he wants, and nobody can stop him. It's really good. That's really good. The Legion of Doom comes back because Ahmed Johnson says he's going to get some help because he's facing off like against the entire Nation of Domination.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania in a Chicago street fight, and the Legion of Doom comes back, and they had to wait like 3 minutes to say anything because the crowd was fucking losing their mind.
I mean, they came back at the. And I don't know why they brought them back for the ECW Raw when they got this pop for this one. This would have been a great show to have.
Yeah, to bring them back. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
Still worked nicely though.
Yep. But there's only two really good things left to talk about before we get to the mains, which we've obviously.
Well, did you wait? I did want to include like Mankind has this really good shoot promo.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if I want to include it as a soundbite. It'd probably be a pain in the ass to find. But look it up from the first Raw's War. It's just a sign of how things are different. And I mean, you and I should kind of talk about the presentation, how things are different here, Gary.
Yeah.
But this one is like he throws down the urn and he's like, this isn't anything. Like everyone knows that. This is just a prop. And then he opens himself up hard way just by knocking on his head. Which is
yeah.
It's
kind of fucking crazy.
It's a great promo, and it's also because we haven't heard from Mankind in ages. So I was kind of like, "Oh, fuck!" And then they cut the commercial while he was talking, and I was like, "No."
Yep.
But it's a very different presentation, and it's and it might be a kind of a sign of why things are a little stale right now because it's very similar to that, and that was way back in '97 where it's you come to the ring, you cut a promo. that starts off what's going to go on that night. Someone comes out, that sort of stuff, and it might need something different. At the time, it was really revolutionary, though.
Oh yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, it was really different. You can feel the difference where like Sid comes out, Vader comes, or Undertaker comes out, and then Mankind and Paul Bearer come out.
Yeah. In terms of what the presentation and stuff, they've really gone over the top with production value in comparison.
Yeah.
They've got they've changed the intro is fucking awesome now.
Yeah.
They have Stone Cold walking into what literally looks like a war zone. It's got like tanks and helicopters and explosions. They've got that really cool theme that they have for Raw.
It's another sign that they're going with Austin because he's literally the main character
walking through.
Yeah.
They have a lot of other things too, like when they have people's names come up instead of just being like weird WWF with a like blue or yellow background and then their name. There's like a flaming garbage can besides their name with like some barbed wire and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is like a nice touch. It's a nice touch.
It's the war zone.
It's the war zone now.
Yeah.
And they really did a lot of other stuff. Like a lot of the camera work got a lot better at this time. I'm just wondering if Vince was like, "You're fine," to like all the old camera guys.
They push to the because they split the show, even though they don't say it's split. There's like a Raw's War, and then there's the War Zone at 10.
Yeah.
Right? So like they end up pushing a lot to the War Zone, where the War Zone is a lot more. Yeah, I think the War Zone actually has a higher rating.
Yeah.
So they can get away with a lot more shit on it.
Yep.
So they're constantly getting their viewers to be like, okay, next hour, watch this. Look at all this stuff that's going to happen.
Next hour on the War Zone. They actually say that like every time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, it's cool. And then they actually do the intro again. So it's like almost two different shows. I think they did ad sales differently at this time too. That's why they did it.
There's another thing I want to mention as well from this Raw. This is the March 10th Raw's War. This also happened in the second hour, obviously. The Paul Heyman and Jerry Lawler debate.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to pause for a soundbite here.
Maintain some decorum, please, if we can. You ought to get down on your hands and knees and thank your lucky stars that you're getting to plug a stinking pay-per-view on Monday Night Raw. Do you understand that? And why Vince McMahon allows it, I'll never know. Look, and you were proud of drawing 1,100 people in Philadelphia. Because we are. That's 4 million people. There's 1,100 morons that have come to watch paint dry. You want to shoot? Yeah, I'm shooting with you. That's right. Yeah. Hey, how you doing at the Steve Stars in Louisville, Jerry? Huh? Your own sons don't call themselves Waller. Why? Why? Because they're ashamed of your ass. We earned everything we got. We give these people their money's worth. You never earned anything in your life. You're a 35-year-old man who still lives with his mother. How old are you? Huh? If it wasn't for your mom and dad who financed this bunch of crap, you wouldn't be anything. You understand that? Huh? You want to shoot with somebody? Why do you hang around with these guys? You're not an athlete.
Because this is the one where Paul Heyman was like, "You want to shoot?" And then they just go like crazy, and like the fucking thing gets like the podium gets tipped down, and like Vince McMahon can't keep order, and like a bunch of ECW superstars storm the ring, and a bunch of WWF guys are still in the ring. It's crazy. It's such a good part though. It's so good. Like Paul Heyman's still so good at this point in time, even at this point in time, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then I guess we'll get. So do you want to roll into attitude adjustment?
Number 2.
With 2?
Number 2, yeah.
At 4 overall?
Yeah, I mean, you and I were discussing like what made this what we're talking about obviously is the Bret Hart tirade just before WrestleMania 13.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best endings to Raw of all time.
Yeah. Sure.
Because you have this really great situation where if Bret wins the title, it's going to be him and Austin versus the title. And if Sid wins the title, it'll be Sid and Undertaker. So Austin and Undertaker have like really vested interest in this match, which you never see before. And I don't think I've seen this again since.
Where somebody's trying to help their opponent for a pay-per-view. Yeah, it's really strange.
But it works really well.
It's really cool.
Especially since Austin, because the dynamic with Austin is Austin feels like he did all this for Bret. And Bret, like, sorry, we're going to be all over the place here. Bret comes out like at the beginning of the Raw once he figures everything out. Like I think it was at the top of the war zone, and he's like, "Well, you know, I'm going to win the title. I'm going to defend it. I'm going to be a great champion."
Yeah, I have a chance to beat Sid in a steel cage, so there's no interference from Stone Cold.
He's so like happy about it, and he's like, "Oh, you know, like he's all back to normal." And I think you and I discussed this before, where it's like, where is he getting all these title shots from? This is somewhat heelish that he keeps.
It's so insane.
And Austin is mentioning that, like, how do you keep getting all these title shots? When is my opportunity coming up?
Yeah,
what is
pretty
this?
much.
And they almost like, it's not really implied, but I feel like you're supposed to make it up on your own. Like that he's just going to Gorilla Monsoon and he has a bit of sway with the boys and like, he can get this sort of stuff.
Yep.
So Bret and Sid are like kind of battling it out, and Austin and Undertaker are just getting involved. And Austin thinks he's saved it, and he thinks Bret's going to walk out the door, and Undertaker throws the door in his face.
Yep.
And Sid
quite viciously, actually.
Yeah. Sid actually gets out and lands on the floor. And they cut to Austin in the crowd, and he's like, "Oh,
you're pathetic."
You said he like laughs, right?
He laughs, and he's like, "You're pathetic." It's so good.
Because I think he's like, "Oh, whatever." Like, geez, you know. In Austin's mind, he did so much to help Bret, and it's like all Bret's fault that it didn't work out.
And then we come to...
So they cut to commercial.
Yep. And they come back.
And you would think the episode's over, because I think at this point it's like 11 o'clock. And then they cut back, and they're like dismantling the ring, and Bret's just pacing around in the ring.
The cage is half taken down.
Yeah.
The cage is half
Which also I really like, because it makes it look like it's all chaotic. And Vince goes in the ring to have a word with Bret, and Bret fucking throws him on the ground.
Grabs the mic. Pause for the soundbite here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extremely frustrated over what has just happened. Whoa! Frustrated isn't the goddamn word for it. This is bullshit.
Oh, we apologize, ladies and
Screw
gentlemen.
me. Everybody screws me. And nobody does a goddamn thing about it. Nobody in the building cares. Nobody in the dressing room cares. So much goddamn injustice around here. I've had it up to here.
We apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody knows it. I know it. Everybody knows it. I should be the World Wrestling Federation champion.
Get him out of the ring.
Everybody just keeps turning a blind eye. You keep turning a blind eye to it. I got that Gorilla Monsoon. He turns a blind eye to it. Everybody in that goddamn dressing room knows that I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Cut him off.
If you don't like it, tough shit.
Cuts the most profanity-filled promo I've ever heard.
Yep.
And a promo that I use in my day-to-day life when something's not going wrong.
Yeah, it's great. It's right up there. It's right up there with "It's me, Austin." This is the reason that they started using the 7-second delay.
This is bullshit. Don't you love how it has to be 7 seconds long?
Yeah, a 7-second delay. Good God.
Just in case Bret grabs the mic and just starts spitting rhymes again.
Oh, it's so crazy. And he like loses his mind. He's like, "You screwed me. Gorilla screwed me. Everybody everybody screwed me."
Everyone's in the goddamn dressing room.
Yeah. No, this is he's like, "This is shit.
I'm the best there is.
The best there was, the best there ever will be." And the fans are like, "Boo!" And he's like, "If you don't like it, then talk shit." It's amazing. It's an amazing promo. You should go and find it on YouTube, the uncensored version.
Yeah. Well, we provide you with the uncensored version.
It's quite amazing.
And I think it's one of those things where you just, it's such a perfect moment. And I don't know if this is Vince, like McMahon, thinking to himself, like, let's bring the Hitman character to a different level. Or if it's Vince Russo being like, "Yo, McMahon, we need to have Bret say the word shit on TV.
Yeah.
The mocks will eat it up."
Well, at least your Vince Russo impression is really good.
I do a nice Brooklyn accent. And I just it's not even like a swearing for the sake of swearing. It's like the end of the Hitman character, because Bret's character is this like good guy. He's a real.
It's over. He's
a tough guy. He gives the sunglasses to the kids in the audience, and this is like this crybaby egomaniac who is like a big. I think the most important thing is he's a hypocrite. You know, he's it's all about him, and he's just an egomaniac about everything. And
everybody's always interfering in matches, and then he goes out and interferes in everybody's
and he
matches.
didn't get his way, and instead of like whatever, just man up and deal with it, he just flips out and he blames everyone. Yeah, and they keep cutting to Vince, which I love because it's like he's not really the boss at this point. Yeah, and Vince looks like he's gonna cry.
It's the first time I hear Vince get audibly upset on the commentary. Like he's like, Bret Hart is just flushing his legacy down the toilet.
He just hit that Pat Patterson, the Hall of Famer Pat Patterson, that dirty, rotten son of a bitch.
Yeah, like it's so crazy.
And so Bret's cutting this amazing promo, and then Austin shows up on the screen, and I think it's pre-recorded. It's at the beginning of our podcast here. And Austin...
It's so good.
Austin is... And it's got to be pre-recorded, because Austin's probably in the crowd somewhere wandering around.
Laughing his ass off.
And Austin is just saying, like, I tried to help. This is on you. You are a loser. I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then Bret keeps, like, going on a tirade because Austin pisses him off again. And Sid comes out.
Yep.
And he's like, you know that title doesn't belong to you. And Sid's like, I don't know shit. Baby.
It's so good. The end of this is the first Raw I can think of that the end of Raw was very vintage Attitude Era.
It just goes on and on and on.
And like
not in a bad way.
He punches Pat Patterson in the face.
And there's a scroll on the bottom being like, La Femme Nikita's coming on next.
Yeah, it's like trying to panic to get them off air.
And then HBK comes to the ring and doesn't really do anything, but he's there and he's
really good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yep.
And this just like opened the doors to what an edgier product can do to a character and how this how this moment will influence the Austin character moving forward, I think is why I like to highlight it here.
Yep.
Yeah, why we've done it.
Yep. Then we get to it. We get to the big show.
Our first Mania.
Yeah, it's,
I was going to say
our
the
first Mania. It's technically our first Mania.
Yeah, it's our first Mania.
We didn't do 12. Yeah. But it's our first Mania, and you get to hear what you're hearing now, Linda McMahon's theme, which is the WrestleMania 13 theme.
So edgy and gritty.
Yep, WrestleMania 13. Chicago, I will correct myself, suburb of Chicago,
Rosemont,
Illinois, March 23rd, 1997.
All right, tough guy. What's the tagline for this WrestleMania?
Oh God, no one's smiling tonight.
No, it's heat.
Oh God,
which makes me think of halftime heat and heat.
Yeah, what the hell? I don't know. Yeah. Right. Actually, they had a really good promo opening for this one where it's got the four main competitors that are going. So Undertaker, Sid, and Bret and Austin, and they make a really good callback near the end to Shawn Michaels losing his smile, saying, "None of these men will be smiling tonight." Like it's such a good promo.
Yeah, everyone's all angry and bitter and jaded, and I love
really getting edgy now.
Yeah,
everyone's getting edgy.
Yeah, not just for the sake of being edgy. It's like everyone has a legitimate gripe and reason to be pissed off. Bret's been screwed so many times. Austin's he's had all his opportunity to move up, being fucked over. Like Undertaker is just trying to get that respect that he feel like he deserves. I don't know about Sid. Sid's just angry because he's Sid.
Yeah, Sid's just Sid.
Sid wants to play softball and he has to defend the world title.
Yeah, god damn it. Then we start off this pay-per-view with a four corners tag match.
Mm-hmm.
And my notes say, it speaks to how thin the roster is in the WWF at this time, that the Headbangers are already at WrestleMania and they win the damn match. They had a Raw debut on February 24th. They've only been on Raw for 3 episodes, and now they're at WrestleMania.
Yeah, when we have, it's funny next year because we'll have there's a 10 tag team match with all the Legion of Doom and next year, and then even a shitty thrown together dumpster match between the New Age Outlaws, who are an amazing tag team.
Yep.
And a thrown together team of Mankind and Terry Funk is going to be better than this piece of shit.
Yep. Yeah. I actually wrote, yay for the Headbangers, who will go nowhere for years.
I remember I used to really like the Headbangers, but I'd never actually seen them wrestle, because when I came in 99, they existed, but I'd never actually seen them.
They're okay.
No, they're shit.
Okay.
They were they were okay before all the good tag teams showed up.
Yeah, exactly.
In '99, when I started, like Edge and Christian existed, the Hardys existed,
Jeff and the Dudleys.
The Dudleys jumped, the Acolytes, like all these really good tag teams.
Yep.
It's good. It's like it's something strong when you're like, the Acolytes are a shitty tag team here.
Yeah. My God. Yeah. Then we have Rock versus the Sultan. Again, that Sultan theme.
Oh, I hope the Sultan and I have a really good match tonight.
Oh God,
my dad is going to be watching.
Yeah. The WWF wanted to have this thing where The Rock got assaulted after the match and had his father, Rocky Maivia, come out to help him, which they had happen.
Rocky Johnson,
in the
Rocky
crowd.
Maivia.
Yeah, nobody knew who the fuck his dad was.
It looks like some guy just ran in the ring and started.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "Where's the security?"
What's interesting, Garrett, I don't know if you watched it, he kind of moves like Future Rock.
Yeah.
He does the sidestepping and like the same punches and all that.
Yep.
I don't know if Rock lifted that or like is inspired by that.
Maybe.
I love when the Honky Tonk Man comes down and JR's like, and the King's flipping out about it. And JR's like, you're acting like he's your cousin, King, because they're cousins in real life.
Yeah. Well, you could tell.
Yeah. And Rocky is the new sensation of the year.
Oh, God.
And he went to the Slammies with supermodel Cindy Margolis because that's going to get him over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Unbelievable. That's an excellent Slammies, by the way, where Vader or Owen throws up like a pitcher of drinks on Vader.
Yeah. I did it! Number 2!
I won 2 Slammies, boy!
Oh, I love Owen Hart. And then, like, Shawn Michaels with Bret Hart for Match of the Year, and he's like, I know I'm going to get a lot of eyebrow flack for this, but I won that match, and just runs off stage. Shawn Michaels. Getting back on track here, we've got Triple H versus Goldust in the longest angle of all time.
Oh, yeah.
It's seriously gone on for a month, or longer than a month to this point. The only cool thing is Beethoven's 5th theme for Triple H still, which is hilarious.
I love it. I wish we could use it for this one.
There's a really weird spot where Goldust counters a double axe handle by Triple H off of the turnbuckle by using his ass.
Yeah,
just like shoves his ass into Triple H's like stomach. It looks like he's trying to like twerk on Triple H.
And then JR is like, he hit him with his Lawler.
Yeah. God, JR is so good. But other than that, like nothing else really good happens except at the end when Chyna gets her hands on Marlena.
Oh yeah.
And just like ragdolls her the fuck around.
She shakes her like a dog.
Like,
it's amazing.
She looks like a ragdoll. It's amazing she didn't get neck damage.
Yeah, considering we don't see Marlena get involved as much, she never gets beaten down or anything.
Also, she's so thin.
Yeah, she's really small.
She didn't like snap anything or break anything during that.
Yeah, and you just know Chyna wasn't going easy on her or anything.
Yeah. Then we get to an actually decent match because, again, Owen Hart and Bulldog. Mm-hmm. The usual from Owen and Bulldog, just so goddamn talented. Can't believe it. Like, and then I wrote how I still have trouble believing, even when I watch it today, how fucking strong British Bulldog was.
Oh, yeah.
He, like, lifted up Vader and power slammed him like it was nothing. Vader's 350 pounds at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. And my favorite part of this whole match is just Jerry the King ragging on Stu and Helen Hart.
I love it when he notices that Stu and Helen are in the front row.
Stu is like, oh yeah, there's Stu Hart. What? Stu's here? He's so happy, yet so like, what do you mean Stu's here?
Stu wants the Geritol on the rocks.
And then yeah, Geritol on the rocks. And later, like Vader like power slams Owen, and he's like, oh, even Stu woke up for that one. And then like even later, and he's like, will you stop that? And then like later, he says something. He's like, oh, look at that though. Helen's wearing some really nice antique jewelry. And there's like a 3-second pause. He's like, of course she bought it when it was new. And then like Vince McMahon's like, would you stop? Would you leave Stu Hart and Helen alone?
He like reverts back to his 1994, 1993 when he was picking on them all the time.
Yeah,
like,
it's really funny. It's
like
great.
Back into his old gimmick. He's immediately into it.
God bless you, Stu Hart. You've come a long way from down in the dungeon and living with your family in tents during the Great Depression.
Yes, I'm not allowed to pick on Stu Hart because he lived in tents in the Great Depression.
And hunted wild animals and foraged for food. That's actually crazy. Like, it's so weird. Yeah. But, I mean, Great Depression, what are you going to do?
My favorite part of the match is when JR is interviewing them beforehand.
Oh, yeah. Stop trying to stir the pot. Yeah.
I'm the leader. Now leave us alone.
I've got 2 Slammies. He's got 2 titles. Yeah. So good. Owen Hart's I love that guy.
I really wish Bulldog and Owen had a feud after this, but what they do is it works really nicely too.
Yep. May the 8th, I believe, or May the 9th, Owen Hart would have been 50.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Happy birthday, Owen. Yeah. R.I.P. You glorious, glorious human being. Then we get to which, like I said, which I mentioned to you when we were discussing.
May the 7th.
I guess we're going to go with match of era.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just talking about Owen real quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
When did he die? May 23rd. He dies in May 23rd. Okay, moving on.
Over the edge. Yep.
Yes, the match of the era, as you and I have described it.
Yep.
Until we come up with a better name.
Yep. In my opinion, it is still the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. I love Shawn Michaels to death at 25 and 26. But this one's better.
I can't think of anyone. Like, I really enjoy like the ones at WrestleMania 10.
Yep.
And I enjoy Bret and Piper. I enjoy a lot of Bret matches, actually.
Yep. I still think this is the best.
Which is funny because Bret's supposed to like be the opposite of the kind of match I like, but I always love his matches.
Yeah. I still think this is the best.
Yeah, this one's his best one.
This is, in my opinion, my favorite and the best Austin match entrance in history. When they follow him from the back, and it cuts to the front, and there's a bunch of sugar glass over the entrance tunnel.
Yeah.
And as he comes out, when his glass shatters, as he's walking out, the glass breaks, and he walks over it, and he's like so in the zone. He's got the Austin 316 vest on. He's ready to go. He's a savage.
Dumb question. Do you think that was sugar glass?
Yes.
Just easy to clean it up. No one gets cut while they're walking.
I think so. Because if they did walk through it and it was real glass, there's chances it could have gone up into boots and shit.
And that's true. It would get all over the mat and stuff.
Just the way it shattered into zillions of.
That's true.
Like there was no big chunks.
How do you think they shatter that? This is a very strange question.
I think there's probably a little bit of pyrotechnics.
Oh, okay.
Like the corners, maybe because when it shatters, it kind of falls from the top.
Yeah.
And then just breaks on the ground.
Interesting. Someone needs to email Austin and ask him that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
This is shit I really care about, Austin.
Yeah. Everything about this match is fucking amazing. The brawling style of Stone Cold really takes over. He stomps a mud hole in Bret for like a minute.
Well, let's start from the beginning because this is a crazy match. Like, they don't start kind of like doing any technical shit. Austin's got his back turned to him, which I really like. Whenever Austin's in like a big time match, he's always got his head down. He's always really like taking it in before he gets involved.
Yeah, before he gets involved.
And in this one, he immediately turns around and just he tackles Bret and they just start brawling.
Yep.
And to Bret's credit, Bret's ready for this too. Like he comes in the match.
Knows.
Like,
yeah, he knows.
He's ready for a fight. They brawl into the crowd. Austin and Bret are like they're keeping their punches really, really close and tight. I laugh because I'm thinking like how far they came with this match. You know, starting in November, Bret had come back as like I just want to wrestle the best wrestler in the WWE.
Yeah, and now he's like.
I feel like Austin's really helped him take his game up.
Yep.
And Bret's going to take Austin's game up here. And so they have this blood feud. And like one of the first times we see Austin with his knee brace.
Yep. Soon he'll be wearing two.
The crowd is crazy. And they're like constantly getting in the way of the camera while we're following them through the back.
Through the crowd, yeah. There's
Austin keeps trying to steal like a hot dog vendor's like
drink tray.
Drink tray. And the guy won't give it to him.
Yeah. They're like brawl like a couple times in the crowd, outside the ring, all over the place. There's so many spots in this match.
And the crowd, you know, this is a WWE revisionist thing. Like the crowd wasn't against Bret at this point. The crowd liked Bret quite a bit.
Yep.
If anything, I would say the crowd was more in Bret's favor when Austin first came out.
Yep, I'd say that too. I agree.
If that's fair.
I'd agree. Yeah, I think that's.
It was a lot of women and children, but like it seemed like he had a big pop.
Yep. I think that's fair.
But it's once he starts, like, Austin starts selling, which really builds the sympathy for himself. And the selling really, I think there's a part where Austin is going to get Pillmanized and Bret threads his leg through the chair. And the crowd's like, oh, no, wait, that's too much. Stop.
Yeah, the crowd really turns on, which is funny because Austin did that.
Exact same thing.
To Brian Pillman.
Yeah. I mean, Austin invented it. And Bret, to his credit, is like, I don't think Bret's going out of his way to be a heel here, but like he's doing a lot of heel. Like he gets the bell.
Yep.
And when he gets the bell, he spills coffee all over the timekeeper's lap, which always makes me laugh. Like it's a huge cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And
there's
then
spots everywhere. Good God, that poor coffee. The poor guy with the coffee.
Poor guy. Well, it was probably cold by this point, if anything.
It's the only real spot of the whole thing. It's just his burnt crotch.
And there's a great blade job. There's no blading at this point. No blade policy. That's definitely going to change.
Yeah.
And Bret, as a old timey pro, he keeps the blade in his lip.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked.
Can you imagine doing this?
There.
Like wrestling a match with a blade hidden in your lip?
Well, what if you take a bump and like it gets jarred loose and you fucking swallow it or something?
Swallow it. I got shit.
God.
Yeah. There's a great moment when Austin throws him out. You'll actually see him hit the ground. He's on his knees. He spits the blade out, but he covers it perfectly. So like you have to really kind of rewind and watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
And then he tosses Bret. Apparently Austin actually said like, oh, maybe we shouldn't blade. Although that's from Bret's book. Austin in his podcast says, I said, it's up to you. Like, the crowd's into this regardless, whatever. It's your decision.
Yeah.
And Bret says, it's too late now. Whips him into the barrier right next to
barricade,
Lawler and McMahon and fucking blades him. Which apparently you never let someone else blade you, so just in case you're curious.
Yeah, and we all know why that is.
Mass transit.
If you ever watch the ECW Forever Hardcore, the mass transit incident.
Yeah, you just don't want someone taking liberties with your fucking.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was both parts equally Mass Transit's fault and equally fucking New Jack is. New Jack is fucking insane!
I love the fact that Vince almost hired him in 2005.
Yeah, New Jack is fucking terrifying!
Vince would have had to give him the title because he'd be too scared to tell him no.
He would actually kill guys. If you guys have ever watched the ECW Forever Extreme.
Forever Hardcore?
Yeah, sorry, Forever Hardcore. There's a point where he talks about where they had this match where he was supposed to throw this guy into the ring through like 12 tables.
Oh, I know this one. And the guy fucked his eye up.
He throws this guy, like he says in the thing, he threw him as hard as he could. He's like, I wanted him to land on the ring post. He's like, I wanted to kill him. He's like, I don't like him, and he's not shit.
Yeah, I remember back in the day.
I was like, holy fuck, this guy's actually terrifying.
I remember back in the day that whenever like someone would Kaza or like Bear share Owen Hart death videos.
Yeah.
Don't know why anyone would be doing that.
Yep.
You'd always get that video from ECW.
Yeah. Well, same with the one where him and the other guy were on that scaffold and they fell through those tables.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
And then they landed. He landed on his head.
Yeah.
The other guy landed on New Jack's head.
Oh, yeah. So that's the one with that.
New Jack's permanently blind in his right eye.
Yeah, because of that.
He's permanently blind in his right eye. He gets migraines every day. Sometimes his vision just goes blurry. He only has memory after 3 days after he says something. It takes 3 days for him to remember what he said.
Yikes.
And he said it's because when he landed and the guy landed on top of him, he had like brain fluid coming out of his nose and his ear.
Oh.
Like he's like, it was fucked. It was the craziest bump I've ever seen. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
People actually almost died.
New Jack's crazy.
Yeah, he's a savage. Thanks for not hiring him, Vince. Thank you, God.
It would have been entertaining, though.
Oh, seeing him running around with like the new ECW, he would have just killed everyone. He probably would have thrown Kelly from one of those scaffolds on those tables. Good God.
Damn, now I want to see that.
Jose pisses off New Jack, throws all three of them.
And Mike Knox.
Yeah, Mike Knox would be the first victim.
There's a great moment. So Austin's bleeding like crazy, and the crowd is at a fever pitch at this point. And there's the ring bell is sitting there.
Yep.
And Bret's being choked, and it's a great callback to WrestleMania 8. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but Bret's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
And Bret grabs the bell, and without hesitation, he just bashes Austin in the face with it.
Yep.
Whereas Piper didn't use it against him when he was all bloody and shit.
Yep.
I love it. And Bret wraps in the sharpshooter, and Austin is just the picture of perfection here. I love it.
Yeah, they use it for years, man. They use that shot for years.
And it's
of Austin screaming with the blood running down his face.
Yeah, and it's probably Austin's, one of my favorite. It must be Austin's finest moment. I'm trying to think of better ones, and that's just
I don't
perfect.
think there is one. I don't think there is a moment where Austin looks as good as he does here.
Yeah.
He's had, in my opinion, there have been matches where he's looked as good overall, but never as good as he did in this moment.
Yeah. Austin says he wishes he had broken the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
And actually had to been able to get up for a bit, and then Bret would put him back in. But I think this works. It's a good fake out spot before the end, and yeah, it's amazing.
Yep.
The only problem I have with it is Shamrock kind of stealing the thunder at the end.
He kind of had to do it though, because there's no other way they would have been able to do that. I don't think.
Yeah. It's also a submission match, and it ends in a non-submission, which I'm also kind of like, meh.
Yeah. It's weird, but other than that,
it's a perfect match. Other than that,
perfect match.
Yeah.
It's good too because after the match we have the double turn. Austin becomes a face, and Bret Hart becomes the most heelish we've ever seen Bret Hart.
No one make fun of me for this. I get choked up when Bret starts kicking Austin after the end of the match.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I wuss out, and I'm every time I watch this match, I get really invested in it, and I'm really into Austin, and then Bret starts putting the boots to Austin while he's defenseless, and it's
hard to watch.
Yeah, it just chokes me up a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, make fun of me on Twitter for that.
Yep. Yeah. The double heel turn. So Austin's face. Bret Hart is the most heel ever. Basically, Ken Shamrock grabs Bret. Does a suplex.
Yeah.
Challenges Bret to come back in the ring and fight him. Bret leaves. Looks like he's going to consider it and then walks away.
Well, Bret's probably exhausted at this point.
And then the crowd. There's a really good spot in the crowd where a guy's like, "Fuck you" to Bret, and Bret just turns and goes, "Fuck you too," and keeps walking. It's amazing.
And Bret loves that moment too.
Yeah. So much heat probably generated from that moment.
Yeah, he says that and it's I love it. Whenever I read Bret's book, I'm always like, what are you talking about, Bret? That's the moment he says he wants people to remember him by.
It's not insane, really, because it's so unlike him for his whole career.
Really good moments. That's the moment you want people to remember you by?
Yeah. Well, it's the most controversial.
Well, besides the screw job.
Yeah, well, we all know that.
Yeah.
The crowd shifts through this whole match, which is really cool. First, like you said, they're probably more favoring Bret. And then after the Pillmanizer thing, it was like everyone just sort of switched to Austin, and everyone wanted Austin to win.
It's 100% Austin when he starts kicking Austin.
Yeah, and it's really fucking cool at the very end. Austin refuses help. A referee comes in, and he stuns the referee who's trying to help him.
And the referee can't sell. Apparently he sells it like Vince.
No one sells the stunner well.
No one knows how to sell it at this point. Jesus.
Yeah. It's no rock, look at me, I have rubber fucking bands in my knees. Boom!
The Scott Hall.
Yeah.
The Mario jump.
Yeah. And then he falls out of the ring. He's hobbling on his leg, and the crowd just fucking rises to a fever pitch.
They love
it. Everyone's on their on their feet, clapping and chanting, "Austin, Austin!" And it's the really first audible Austin I think I heard.
Yeah.
And everyone's just fully behind him, and it's great.
Yeah.
Such a good moment.
Yeah.
That's why it's match of an era.
Yeah.
Match of the era.
Love
One
it.
of them. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then what do we go to?
Ooh.
Oh yeah. The Legion of Doom and Ahmed Johnson versus the Nation of Domination.
Probably Ahmed's best match of all time.
Yep.
So I was thinking of him and the Legion coming out on their spikes. I really like that part.
Yeah, I like that Ahmed wore the spikes as well. I think that made it really fucking cool.
And he didn't wear paint, which he would look stupid doing that.
Yeah, I think that was...
He's got a mohawk. Road Warrior or Johnson.
I think the only reason this match overall was decent, though, was because it was a street fight. Because, no one's faulting these guys, but how do you follow the greatest WrestleMania match of all time?
They do the decent job for what.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I think the big helper there was that it was a street fight.
Yeah.
Ahmed and LOD were so fucking over at this point. The crowd is losing their mind still.
They really like Ahmed and they love LOD.
Yeah. Ahmed at the start of the match just starts flying all over the place. He's doing crazy spots. He's doing like flips into the crowd. He's coming back across the barricade, and then he gets hit once, and he's gassed.
Yeah, I'm just imagining in my mind right now. I mean, I just remember him jumping over the barricade 1 second and jumping over it again in the next second.
Yeah, he's fucking savage.
and the camera doesn't get either of them.
No, they get like a half the first one. And then I remember writing down, I wonder how many people have fucked up lungs because they use a real fire extinguisher like 3 times in the same area.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon actually coughs in the title match after this because I think of the fire extinguishers because there's so much shit in the air.
Yeah, because I remember when I had to put out a fire in my old university house, it fucked up my roommate's lungs for a bit there because of all the...
Yeah, you're not supposed to live in the room.
Well,
like,
we're also not supposed to have firecrackers on top of the dryer either, but we do silly things here, right?
Wait, was that there?
Yeah.
Is that at Colburn Street?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Wait, you ever hear that story? I got to move the fireworks, guys.
Which roommate was that?
That was Chuckles.
Oh my God!
And Chuckles was trying to put the fire out, and I'm like, let me spray it.
Fireworks.
let me spray it, bro. I've never done it before.
It's amazing.
Of course, he has a fire extinguisher in his room. I love the guy.
That guy's amazing.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Yep.
Shout out to Chuckles.
There's a ridiculous botched pile driver.
Oh God!
Ahmed tries to pile drive Farouk onto the announce table.
Yeah.
And thank God it got botched because he probably would have killed Farouk with the fall to the floor after the table broke.
I'm not sure what would have been worse, but yeah,
and then he hits the table, then hits the floor. And then later on, Farouk scoop slams Ahmed he scoop slams Farouk, one of the two, and they break through the table that way because the table was obviously supposed to break.
There's another table bump that we've had, and we can still
That's
count
5 now. And then they had this really uncomfortable thing where they used this fucking noose on a run, and only the black guys got the noose put around their neck.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
So Farouk gets Ahmed Johnson gets it put around his neck first, and then Farouk gets it put around his neck, and there's a really terrible spot that I don't think was supposed to happen, where Farouk tries to get it off his neck, and he can't, so he crawls around the ring on all fours around the outside to the 2 white rapping guys.
PG-13.
And they try and get it off, and then they turn to Savio Vega, who's in the middle of this match, and they're like, "We can't get it off!" And then Savio Vega just rips it off his neck. Oh my God, it's so uncomfortable though. It's just really bad.
Yeah, it was a silly idea.
Yeah,
especially with the noose. Whenever they do those choking spots, you always have your fingers in there, right?
Yeah, so it's not going to work the way it's supposed to.
But with the noose, they didn't do the finger thing.
Yeah,
so
it was fucking crazy.
Legitimately being strangled.
Yep. Overall, good match though.
I love the doomsday device to the rappers. That was a good moment.
Oh yeah, at the very end, the one guy sells it like a champ.
Yeah,
it's like a flip in the air. The other guy just kind of corpses. Sign for the man. Yeah. So then we move on to what's supposed to be the main event, but we already knew what that was.
Holy shit! Yeah. Do you think anyone's still at this Mania at this point?
I think so. I would have probably left.
You're like, peace. This is the Triple H Jericho of the.
I would have been gassed. After Austin.
Holy shit.
So then we have Undertaker versus Sid for the WWF title.
This is the Rock Cena 2 to the CM Punk Undertaker.
Yeah. This match has a shitload of break and rest holds.
It's a piece of shit.
It's awful. It's not good.
It's no Undertaker Diesel from the year before.
Bret Hart comes out at the beginning and calls out HBK, telling him not to interfere in the match because HBK is doing commentary. And he's like, "Try not to interfere in this match, Michaels." All this shit, which is really ironic.
Yeah.
Because Bret Hart interferes at least 3 times in this match, and I wrote, "Holy shit, Bret Hart might as well have just interjected himself and made it a triple threat match."
I just don't understand. He attacks Sid, but is that because Sid powerbombs him at the beginning? And
I think so.
Or Sid chokeslams. I forgot what he does, but he does something.
Or probably because he won the steel cage match or something.
He has a bone to pick with both of these guys. It's
yeah.
They should have brought Austin out at some point to fuck around with this.
HBK is kissing so much ass on commentary here that it's unbearable.
HBK is trying to mend some bridges.
Yeah, really try and mend some that he's burned himself.
Even though everyone hates him at this point.
Like, the Bret Hart segment, I forgot about at the beginning. Overall, like, this match, there's nothing to talk about. It's very standard, very slow in terms of matches go that we've seen. Things to note, Undertaker goes 6-0 at WrestleMania 13. Still no mention of it yet, but he goes 6-0. They don't mention the streak yet.
They don't say he's undefeated at all, do they?
Nope. They don't say anything about it. And then at the end of the match, you have Undertaker in the purple ring with holding up the belt, which is a shot that will be used for fucking years to come.
Yeah, I do love that shot.
Hitting the purple light, holding the belt.
I think it's weird that he's got his old attire on while...
yeah, it's really strange.
But I guess it was like maybe he was thinking, one night only.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think so. I think that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, the match is really fucking shit. It wasn't good, in my opinion, like, at all. It could have been way better. They could have done some more stuff. There could have been some more bumps.
Yeah, I mean, it was what you'd expect from a Undertaker-Sid match.
Yeah. But I think that after that match, that pretty much does it for WrestleMania. The pay-per-view ends with Undertaker holding the belt in the middle of the ring.
Which is a great shot.
A great shot to end WrestleMania. Other than that, I think we've come to the end of what we're covering, Peter.
Awesome.
Thank God. Much time.
I know. We'll probably cut these down from now on and do a few less shows.
I think we'll do. I think we should do like. So maybe starting episode 4, we'll do 2 months instead of 3.
I think that'll work.
And then that way, if that doesn't work, then we can cut it down even more and go maybe 1 month and then just have some more material. But I don't want to get too inside baseball with shit like that.
Yeah, well, once SmackDown happens, I think it'd be good to cut it down to 1.
Yeah, once we get to SmackDown, because then there's 8 shows and then a pay-per-view. So that works every time.
It should end up being the exact amount of time as usual, too. That's the best part.
Yeah. So what do you think is or isn't working, Peter? Because I've got some ideas here.
Oh, Lord. The roster isn't very strong, I think.
Yeah, it's a very thin roster.
It's a very thin roster, which is fine. It's just they're having to do like the SmackDown 6 sort of thing where you book it around 6 guys.
Yeah, and a thing that goes with that, too, that I have for what isn't working, with the roster being so thin, you have the same feuds for like months at a time.
And it works with when you got these guys and they're booked as strongly as they are. But
certain ones work, but other ones you're just like, please, God.
Yeah, and we'll see the same sort of things. Like the mid card is just very, very thin at this point.
Yeah.
Tag division is very thin.
Yeah.
Do we give a shit who's the Intercontinental Champion at this time? It's Rocky, so who cares? Tag team titles are British Bulldog and Owen, who aren't even a real tag team. So
yeah.
I think they really need a big angle, like a big storyline angle, and they're going to come across that soon enough, which I like.
Yep.
I don't know. Any other suggestions from you?
Not for what isn't working.
I'm just trying to think of one more that isn't working. Just updating everything. Like when you're going to do the Raw's War, have everything done.
Yeah, stop trying to fix it week to week. Don't be us. God.
Hey, we're just eager to get it out there.
Yeah. What is working, I think, is the newfound attitude they have. So, like, Bret Hart becoming a heel and finding his sort of good niche persona. Austin being Stone Cold Steve Austin in general.
Yeah.
Not too much else, really, but that covers such a huge base.
They're letting well, I'm not going to say everyone. They're letting the people who are the stars to have their own personality at the moment.
Yeah, everyone's kind of in control of their own character.
But they're also letting a little more flexibility and freedom when it comes to production and characters and all that sort of stuff. So,
yeah.
It's not like now where it's like, camera 1, we have to go to hard camera immediately. Like, it's, okay, we're going to take this shot to make it look a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got your favorite and least favorite moment. I've got a couple.
There was a lot of I feel like I was getting sick and tired of watching Goldust and Triple H over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I thought the ECW episode was kind of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not an ECW guy, but I just didn't think it was that great. And what do you think?
One of my least favorite moments was the fucking karate tournament final, and the whole Goldust being gay was probably my least favorite. No. And my favorite moment was Austin versus Bret at WrestleMania 13, because good lord.
Oh yeah. I mean that's.
Also, one of my favorite moments is anytime that Bret goes on a tirade in the ring and Austin interrupts him and cuts a great promo.
Yeah, Bret and Austin keep getting amazing promos during that time.
Doing good things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other than that, as we alluded to, we're always trying to constantly improve this podcast. We're trying different things, doing some different stuff, putting some background themes in behind things. Where can you find us, Peter?
You can find us at Tweener Podcast on Twitter. You can subscribe, and please subscribe while we figure out our Apple stuff out. Tweener Wrestling Podcast on YouTube.
Yep.
Because we'll keep providing you with the good stuff. I mean, I know we're all looking forward to April and May of 1997.
Yep.
There's some odd stuff coming up.
Yeah, some really weird stuff.
I think next month we hear Kane is alive.
Yep, it's when we start. Kane
can drive.
Will soon be upon us.
Yeah, excited for that.
The Hart Foundation will be back. The next episode.
Yeah, I like the fact that Bret just comes out and he brings Owen and
Bulldog together. Yeah. That happens. The foundation comes back. Austin is Austin for a little bit anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think other than that, the only thing we're going to talk about is the closing theme this week we chose is Because Me, and I love this theme.
I get next week.
The Sultan's theme is so good. I remember when I first heard it, and it's just so Middle Eastern and so cool and unlike anything else we hear. I want to send a personal thank you note to Jim Johnson, who I assume did it.
Did they use this with anyone else, or is this
No, I think that's just him. It's a one and done.
Okay, I'm curious. It sounds very familiar.
Yep. And that is, I think that's about it. And then you can take us home, Peter.
I hope everyone liked the podcast. As Garrett would say, we're kind of going at it 1 week at a time.
This one ran a little bit long, but we've got WrestleMania 13, so...
Jesus, 2:42. I think we'll cut that down a bit.
Yeah.
But, this is what we do, and, hopefully you're enjoying listening to us rant about this stuff and our little sound bites as well.
Yeah.
Again, if there's any suggestions, positive or negative, just send it our way, and hopefully we can implement them.
Yep.
I love this Sultan song. I hope that's queued up right. That's not at a random time. All right. Have a good one, everyone, and see you next time.